Beyond the gates of mighty kingdoms lies a vast, unexplored world. A world of honor. A world of mystery. A world of danger.
Four years have passed since the mortal races banded together and stood united against the might of the Burning Legion. Though Azeroth was saved, the tenuous pact between the Horde and the Alliance has all but evaporated. The drums of war thunder once again.
in a land of mighty kingdoms. New threats emerge. Ancient alliances are reforged. And an unexplored world awaits. Blizzard Entertainment proudly invites you to experience Warcraft from a whole new perspective. Stake your claim. Live the legend. A world awaits. The world.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet, of Classic WoW. Welcome back to Good Morning Azeroth, episode 49. It's been a little bit of time, guys, but it's really good to be back. Finally got our acts together, and I don't know if you guys even remember us at this point. But I feel good. I feel nostalgic. It feels good, man. Having Def Camp, Meldron, Hamsterwheel, all just such good company in the house, and you guys, of course, watching out there. So welcome back, guys. It's been a hot minute. I have really not caught up with these guys at all. I don't know if they've been talking with each other. So this is so raw right now. I like that.
Raw.
We are just
raw and real.
Raw and real. We are just catching up in real time with you guys. Guys, it's really good to be here.
Oh man,
yeah,
it feels
absolutely.
really good to be here. It feels really good to be here, and I gotta say, it's nice to be here with Hamster as well. You know, one of my favorite OGs from the classic WoW. You know, started making content like ages ago. Feels like a decade ago.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it just feels good. Like I've been really wanting to get back into shit myself. So I haven't even seen Meldron in like 2 months, and he lives literally in the other room across from me. So
that says a lot about your dedication to classic, though.
Yeah. Nah, for real though, it's nice to be back, man. And we'll hit you guys with a good morning, Azeroth. There you go.
There it is.
There we go.
God, I
Power.
missed that. There it is, boys. Man, Def Camp, dude. That's crazy. Like we were just talking a second ago before we started. Like, it's weird how whenever we do these, each person in the panel is kind of in a different spot when it comes to WoW. They're either playing a lot, or playing a little, or whatever. But I heard the Def Camp and Melderon going super hard, ranking, doing all that. It's so crazy. Anyway, Melderon, how's it going, man?
Good, man. It was a good night last night. We got to face S-Fan, got to get some retribution on the Retribution Paladin. He usually 5 caps us every time we see him. We finally got a win on S-Fan. That was a lot of fun, but it was a good match. But it's been going good, dude. Onslaught last night got the world fastest BWL NMC last night. Shout out to Ale on Onslaught on Scarum. It's good to see Red on top.
Was Ale in there? No, right?
Yes, he was. He was streaming.
He was.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Big Ale.
Yeah.
Was it 20 minutes?
20 minutes and 25-second BWL. They beat Progress by 5 seconds, and 18 minutes and some change for MC. So it was a good night last night. Doing well, man. PvPing a lot. Obviously, rank 10 now, going for rank 11, and then I'm going to stop. One more rank, and I'm going to take a break from that. But it's been fun. Yeah. We also had our fastest BWL last night as well, our guild. So I'm very happy about that. We got under an hour for the first time, so I'm really happy about that as well.
We had some bosses that were like, I think our Veil was like 30-something seconds, something like that, right?
37 seconds, yeah.
37 seconds, yeah. So yeah, it's. I gotta say, overall for me, like I've been feeling good with the game. Like I've been playing a lot. You know what I mean? Like I said, like Maduron said, rank 10 as well on my Shaman. Just started trying out enhancement, having a lot of fun with enhancement. Like I was telling you guys earlier, it's amazing 20% of the time. Like it just blows my mind 20% of the time. But then the rest of it, you're kind of like, what, you know what I mean? But it's having a lot of fun with the game right now. We're really pushing in our raids.
What are you swinging?
I'm swinging. What's the name? The pig. I'm swinging the pig mace, man.
Unstoppable
Force.
Force,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's nice with that proc and all, but I could
yeah.
definitely have a better weapon. You know what I mean?
What are you aiming for? Like, what weapon you want, and eventually?
With enhancement, I would love Hand of Rag, but that's probably not going to happen.
Of course, yeah.
I would really like to get myself maybe like a Maul
Dark
from
Age of Insanity.
I mean, well, right now, like maybe the Maul from BWL would be nice with a 2% crit on the two-handed mace.
Oh, the Draconic Maul, right?
Draconic Maul, yeah, that would be nice. But I really like the proc on the Unstoppable Force. It's nice when you're hitting the paladin or whatever, and he just gets stunned for that 1 second. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yo, last but not least, guys, type something in the chat if you know Hamsterwheel. If you know the legend,
You better know
Hamsterwheel
Hamsterwheel.
game. You better know Hamsterwheel, dude. I don't think we've ever had you on a GMA before. I could be wrong, but I would have remembered it. I feel. I mean.
No, we have, right?
Have we? I know
I
we had.
think it was a long time ago, like way
It was a
way
long
back.
time ago. Yeah.
Either
But you
way,
had me, so this is number 2.
Just to quickly hype him up, you guys know if you follow my channel for a while, Hamster has been around forever, man, and he was one of the original content creators that even got me hyped to want to participate in this community and make content. He was one of the OGs, Mr. GM, Dodgy Kebab, Hamsterwheel, Alex Sensual, Orkbit, Alex Sensual, rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Alex Central.
All these,
Good night, sweet desk slammer.
Oh man, it doesn't it feel weird that he's like not here though? Like
I kind of miss him. He was kind of like the funky, weird comic relief character in our little weird community we had. So I do kind of.
guess you can describe him as that. You can describe him as a lot of things. That's for sure. Yeah. But,
exactly.
Hamster brother, how are you, man? How's life for you?
Yeah, so I'm doing pretty good. I've actually been taking a bit of a break from Classic WoW, and I'm might as well drop the bombshell here. I'm actually not subscribed to Classic WoW anymore. So there you go. Yes, I know. Dun, dun, dun. There's multiple reasons. The reason I'm on is I'm just busy with other things in my real life. Nothing bad. Just there are other things in my life that I'm preoccupied with right now that I like more. And the fact that in terms of Classic, I pretty much did what I wanted to do, which was, do some raiding, do a little bit of PvP, get a character level 60, and try out the Hunter class. Those were the main goals for me in terms of Classic WoW. Now, of course, me being, I guess you could call me a casual Classic WoW. I'm just not looking to put a whole lot of time in the game anymore. I know with the raids coming out like Ankiraj and of course like Ramas, the things are, it's going to get a little bit more difficult, and the stress on consumables is going to get heavier. I mean, I still think a lot of the content is still going to be pretty easy to do without consumables, but if you get to like Nax, like End Nax, like some bosses like Loatheb, it's going to get pretty hefty, and you're going to have to spend more time farming the consumables.
For sure.
So I thought long and hard about it. It's like, you know what, I really accomplished everything I wanted to do. I don't really feel like putting a lot of time in raiding and, of course, getting consumables. I just don't really feel like doing it. So at that point, I was like, why am I even paying the $15 a month anymore when I barely log in? Because, it's still $15 a month. So I figured when I'm doing other things, I might as well end the subscription. If I want to come back, I can still do it because my Hunter has like full tier 1 and some pretty sweet epics. So I'm not going to do top DPS or to be the best Hunter, but if I ever want to come back, there is always the opportunity.
It's nice that it's there though, and it's it is there, and it draws you back. Even right now, like it just the simplicity of just the Elwyn Forest music, these Alliance zones. This is the stuff that kind of makes me just want to log in for a little bit and dabble and it will always get you, man. I
got a question though, a Hamster. So like. I feel this way a little bit because I played a lot on private servers before Classic came out. I had a 60 rogue, I had a 60 priest, I had a 70 priest that I played on. I did a lot of TBC. Do you almost, I don't know if regret's the right word, but do you kind of regret playing so much on private servers that you're kind of burnt out a little bit?
I totally get what you're trying to say here. To some extent, I really do kind of regret it because like you, I had multiple characters on different private servers even. And with vanilla, I leveled every single class there is. It wasn't a high rate server, but you still knew what it was like being an end game level 60 hunter or shaman.
Yeah.
You knew the rotation, you knew the gear you need to get. So it definitely kind of spoiled it for me in a sense. But I don't know, because I did have a lot of fun on those private servers. So I wouldn't call it wasted time, but it did kind of ruin the whole experience. I mean, compared to someone who hasn't touched Classic or hasn't touched like World of Warcraft in years and never played private servers, I'm sure that playing Classics, was a much more interesting and much more fun experience for them because they didn't play private servers up the ass. So absolutely, you're 100% correct. I probably spoiled it a lot for myself having leveled so many characters on different private servers. So yes, you're right.
Yeah,
and the difficulty of it too, because a lot of instances, and for me, I felt like the difficulty was a lot harder in actual private servers, to the point where you play Classic and it's like, oh well, this is like easier than I expected, and it's almost has a different effect on you. But like I tell Melder on this all the time, like in terms of PvP, like Alterac Valley, like I had more fun in private servers doing Alterac Valley than I do in Classic. I think that's totally fair to say that, but I am kind of happy that I didn't play TBC too much. I did in private servers, I played TBC like crazy when it was out. Like that's all I did, like every day of my life. But in terms of private servers, all I really did was some heroics, some raids, got my guy, did some PvP, did some arena. But I feel like a lot more almost excited for TBC because of that, I think.
Okay, the thing with me is I played vanilla private servers a lot. I played even more on Burning Crusade private servers. So I'm already thinking Classic is going to go to TBC. I have a Hunter. Hunter's going to be pretty damn good in TBC in regard to DPS, unless Blizzard massively changes around the values or whatever. I know they're solid DPS. But the thing is, I've already played Hunter to a fair bit on TBC. I've done Gruul's Lair. I don't know how many times. I've done Kerosene. I don't know how many. I have nothing to look forward to, and I've spoiled that even more. So I don't even know if I want to come back for TBC. So now, who knows? I might change my mind. But
the hype comes and goes, man. Something might happen, and it might just out of nowhere you just feel compelled to play again. That's how it is for me. It's like almost there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like sometimes you just burn out. It's cyclical, the hype for these games. Just real quick though, guys, I want to just thank everyone watching the show. 49 episodes. It's a lot of episodes, and I don't know if any of you guys have been here since the very beginning, but I'm looking right now in the chat. Some people have stayed subscribed on Twitch for like months and months, even though I haven't been putting out much content, and it's just insane to see that, man. I really appreciate it, man. Crix, or Droth, or Sasa Bite, Pink Flamingo, the whole gang. That's nice. But Hamster, I was just going to ask you, man, because I'm sort of in the same boat. I've been doing other stuff recently. It's not that I'm tired of the game. Like, I love Classic WoW. I love the community and stuff. But, there also are stuff that simultaneously happens in life, and you just kind of float in and out of the hype. And I've been doing some stuff. What has been preoccupying your time, if you don't mind me asking, outside of the game? Do you have any other games you're playing? Is it any hobbies or crafts or work? Or?
Well, I've been really focusing. I've been playing guitar for 23 years now, and I really got back to guitar because there's some things I've always wanted to learn or master, and I don't know, there's something sparked my interest, so I'm really back into playing guitar. And I really want to get better at it, but if I want to get better at it, I have to practice a lot more. I have to put a lot more time and discipline into that. So that's basically it. And I recently discovered mountain biking. So
oh wow,
nice.
I've been looking for a way to kind of get out of the house more, if you will, and exercise. I mean, I did ice skating and running and all that, but I never really thought it was really fun. I just did it because it was healthy. So I was looking for like a kind of a sport that was fun and healthy at the same time. And I recently discovered mountain biking like 2 months ago, and I've just been going around the country looking for different trails and stuff like that, and just taking a load off and just focusing on that and being outdoors and just building stamina. So that's a really those are the two things that are kind of preoccupying myself right now.
There you go. That's great, man.
I really respect that, man. As a fellow musician, I myself have not played music in a long time, and I miss it. And I have, I feel like for me, because music used to be for me a really big part of my life. I feel like there's almost like when I'm not doing something in that realm, it's almost like I'm something's missing. And I think like WoW is a really big part of my life right now, which for good or for worse, whatever. But there's there's a certain outlet that you get from playing music that, especially if you play music with someone else and something like that, it's just very it's almost like.
I did not know you're a musician, DefCamp. What do you play? Guys, guess in the chat what DefCamp plays. I'm gonna guess. I'm guessing.
They're gonna be right if they guessed. Well, I mean, so I primarily played drums recently, but I started off with guitar. I started off playing guitar. I played a little bit of bass. I played a little bit of like piano and stuff like that. I had a lot of equipment that unfortunately I sold during my drug days and stuff like that. But like I still have like a couple. Like I have one guitar now, but.
Yeah, I saw it in the background.
Yeah, I used to have a lot of it. Yeah, I used to have a lot of stuff.
Melderon guesses skin flute.
Oh, Melderon used to slap at the bass too.
Melderon slapped the bass too?
We had a little band. Me, Melderon, our roommate, we used to jam all the time. Yeah, we had
Super Boy Brothers.
Super Boy Brothers. Yeah, DefCamp got all the musical skill though. I didn't get any of that.
I thought you played the electric triangle, though. Is that true?
That's awesome, man.
But yeah, I kind of was like, I don't know, like I get where you guys are coming from. I do. I'm just thankful that I didn't go full all the way in class in private servers. Like you cleared Nax Hamster, so I think you've seen everything. I haven't yet, and that's kind of why I'm still doing it. And it's like. Because yesterday I put out a video and I was kind of like, I was a little negative and about kind of the way they've been policing things, and that to me is, if I were to ever stop playing, that would be the only reason why. Is if Blizzard does something that kind of puts a bad taste in my mouth. And I'm not saying
recap real quick what it was about because I haven't watched it. So.
Yeah, so basically there's a couple issues. So one of the things is what they did was in order to get more people to get the authenticator. Mm-hmm. They are adding 4 bag slots to your backpack for anybody who has an authenticator. So there's that. I perceive that, and that's like, okay, 4 bag slots is pretty innocuous, but I perceive it as we don't want to do customer service. Like we don't want to have to deal with the tickets of people's accounts getting hacked. So here's 4 bag slots, Yeah. And that's kind of the way I was looking at it. Right. The second thing was they are limiting instances to 30 per day, so per account, per player, per server, right? So, and that's okay. Like 30 instances is a lot.
Wait, what? Hold on a second.
Yeah, have you guys not been reading the news?
Bro, I have been out.
I've been out of loop.
Mulching, building chicken coops and planting stuff. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay, there's a 5 instance per hour, right? Okay.
Yes.
Everyone knows that. That's still there, right? However, they also implemented a 30 instance per account per realm thing now. You can't do more than 30 instances per day. So everyone thinks, who the fuck's going to do 30 instances? But here's the thing. How many people do Savage Gladiator chain farms? How many people do manual crowd plumber farms? How many, all these other things, right, that people aren't thinking about.
I love it.
I love it. Yeah. Well, no. The reason they did it was the combat botting.
Is it botting? Though? It's the whole leveling. It's the whole degradation of the whole leveling too.
So that's the good part of it. That's the good part of it, right? Yeah. So I think that's the part that I agree with is that it limits the dungeon boosting, right? But there are people who legitimately try to farm gold this way, and I think those people are getting hurt.
Like Dire Maul and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Dire Maul. Melderon said, I think, crowd pummelers for druids and stuff like that. Like, I love I know there were times where Gray said, like, he got really unlucky and, like, had to go in, like, multiple times, get it. But I see what Melderon's saying because I see that they're doing something, right? And they recently banned a ton.
Well, let me get to that.
That's right. So, yeah.
So the last thing in the video was... Kvax said, "Keep sending in those those reports, guys, because we're gonna get these bots." And I'm like, that's when I lost it. I was like, I've been sending reports for the last 3 months. Yeah. What are you guys doing? And then, of course, less than 24 hours later, they banned 80,000 accounts.
Yeah,
it is Melderon pulling the strings, dude. He hit up.
Well, no. Willie's been making videos. Yeah, Asmund's been making video, so everyone's been reacting to this. Everyone's been talking about this, right? But here's the thing: in the blue post, it says World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
So I think that's 80,000 across both games, which is fine. I just don't know. Like, it kind of skews the numbers a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, how many of them were classic bots versus how many are retail bots? I don't know.
For whatever it's worth, from this old 8-up, not active player, I really like that decision to do 30 per day, and I think that for a couple different reasons. The first thing is that there is a line of reasoning. Not to say everybody should play this way, right? Because I know Melderon Def Camp, like, just because you're able to do this multi-box dungeon cleave doesn't mean you have to, and you very much play your own game and have a tremendous amount of fun doing it.
Yeah,
I love that about you guys, like 100%. But in the same sense, there is a line of play for some people, myself sort of in this bucket kind of halfway, where pretty much what you should do, what is even in that realm of good efficiency, is just living in instances. Whether you're leveling up, you live in instances, then you hit 60, you're farming gold non-stop in instances, you're PvPing non-stop in instances because it's the most efficient way. You know, if you're going to, what else? You know, then there's raids, then there's pretty much, it's a world of instance craft, and you just live in the instances. And
I agree. I think that's a horrible way to play the game. I don't play the game that way, but I think making broad strokes to affect botting and not thinking about the ramifications of players. That's what got me a little bit.
Overall, I think it's a good change. Like, because when I think about it, like 30, I know, like, it does sound like, okay, you're putting a limit, but if you're doing more than 30 dungeons a day, you're probably in the, like, I've helped warriors, get Savage Gladiator change, shit like that, but, like, 30 a day is, so that's how many hours?
That costs your account, right? So here's what I'm getting at. So this is a possible scenario. Let's say you run 20 MCP run or 20 Savage Gladiator runs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, you go in your other account and do some Dire Maul farming, and then something else happens. You're like, okay, time for raid, and you can't get into your raid because you're locked out. Like, I'm not saying that's good. I'm just saying that's kind of a little bit much, right? Maybe you're playing a little bit too much there, or X, Y, and Z, but that could happen to someone, right? And that's where I was like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't.
What was the reaction? I'm curious because I'm so lost in the sauce right now. When they dropped out this little for inventory thing, when they just sprinkled out this dungeon cap, did people did they go crazy? Or was it very
the four inventory slot thing? Most people love that, of course.
Oh, they love
it.
However, there are some people I've heard, like, from Grace, for instance, like, he was saying, like, people don't realize how big of an effect that could have in the early game, right? So if you're, starting off leveling and you have 4 extra bag slots, like, even talking about the hardcore, whatever, this and another, that's a pretty big game changer.
Keep in mind, Gray's favorite item in the game is what? Yeah. He said it many times. The red small pouch. He thinks it looks beautiful. The tooltip. The 6 slots.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
He was very much against the 4 bag slots because of that. Like, he feels that it takes away from that element of it, and I agree to an extent. I think that's something that I think a lot of people were upset about that for that element of it. And I don't have a authenticator. You know what I mean? Maybe I should have said that, but, like, whatever. It's like, yeah. But it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I understand you want people to, have it. I understand it's always probably better so that, if Blizzard can deal with, like, the things that are, like, more important, whatever. But, like, the way of doing that, the 4 slot bag thing in classic WoW definitely does have more of an effect than it would in retail. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I think French summed it up pretty well. The instance cap change was met with a lot of anger, people pissed, and it's because it was a broad stroke change that's not tactful enough and is lazy. I agree. That's my take on it.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I have to agree with Melderon here. I mean, to me, listen, I'm classic. I played it casually. I rated casually, so I'm not like a hardcore player though. But I realize classic is one of those games where it's cool because you get to play it as hardcore as you want. If you want to farm Blackrock depths 50 times a day, you can. I mean, it's all about. I wouldn't say I would support that lifestyle doing that every day, but I'm saying you can. Yeah. And taking away that freedom, I don't know, man. It's, again, classic is one of those games where how hardcore you want to play, it really is limitless. I mean, we're seeing faster and faster clears by people putting in more and more time, more precision, farming more mass, like sapper charges up the ass, and just doing things like this that kind of limit you in terms of how hardcore you want to play, like how many manual crowd pummers you want to farm, or how long you want to spend, farming arena over and over again in BRD for that Savage Glad chest. Kind of limiting that, I just don't really agree with that. I mean, it's probably from good intentions, but I just don't agree with the way they handled it. So I agree with Meldrum here.
And another side of this argument is, another side, not the opposite side, but another side is that these things are changes, right? So the cap on dungeons, that's a change. The 4 bag slots, that's a change. Obviously, the no changes movement wasn't right. Well, hold on, let me get this. So the no changes movement wasn't in all. It wasn't saying that we don't want anything different. Like, it was overall a damage control movement, right? So things didn't get out of hand. Now, Meldron and I had always back in the day said, slippery slope. People would always rebuttal us on this, that not everything's a slippery slope. Now we get to the point where, little things like this start to happen, and it opens the door for new conversations, for changes. I've already heard some people, I don't know if this is a rumor or not, about people saying that they found in the PTR faction change for Classic WoW, that I don't know if this has been confirmed or not, but these little changes open the door to these things where, people talking about, maybe it'll be good to have a WoW token in Classic. Maybe this, that, and the other. And I think a WoW token in Classic is one of the worst things for Classic WoW. I think, faction change is a horrible thing. Yes, I know there's a big issue with faction and balance in Classic WoW. However, I don't think faction swap is the answer to that at all. So I think that opens the door.
You're inching closer and closer to those things, though, right? They just trickle in.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. That's what we're saying. Yeah. It seems to be getting that way. And how are you going to handle Paladin and Shamans if you do a faction change?
Right.
How does that work?
Yeah.
What I thought is maybe when you transform to a Shaman, like what's going on with that?
Yeah.
Well, maybe there was.
If I transform to a Paladin, I might have to.
PTR because it was aimed towards TBC more so. I don't know. But like I said, it hasn't been confirmed. It's a rumor that I heard. I don't know if it's true at all. But like I'm saying is it's in people's minds. I think when you see these little changes, it starts to say, okay, well, they said that layering wasn't going to ever come back after the release, but what happened? It came back. And yeah, there were reasons for it. There was understandably so, blah, blah, blah. But when you go back on these things, and when people see that, it changes your perspective of, if they do this, whatever, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, to the point where now you're at, I'm not going to say it, but transmogs and fucking all this other shit. But it could be a completely different element than what we all expected from day one,
Yeah,
that's true. Just another side of that coin. I'm not saying that that's going to happen or whatever. I'm just saying that's something I think we should all be aware of.
So there's a few more things that came out of this.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Sorry.
If you have something to add on,
there's a few more things that came out of this. There's more stuff that came out for the Blue Post. So they also made Alterac Valley changes. A lot of the backdoor stuff has been fixed. You can't pull Van out of the thing or something. There was all these exploits going on in AV, and these are non-vanilla changes, right? These are, and I think to me stuff like that is warranted. And I know people are going to say you're saying this is okay and this is not okay. I know it's fucked. It's a muddy waters, right? There's all these things that we have to look at and see what's. Yeah, and the last thing though, which I think is the most interesting thing out of everything, is they're not putting AQ40 on the PTR, and I think it's because they have a surprise for us. I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be pre-nerf Cthulhu.
The bug.
I think they're gonna the one that Ian Hazukosa said was unkillable.
No.
Really?
No, I don't know, man.
It killed 5 priests of car, so.
I don't know, dude. I'm just saying. Why are they putting AQ40 in the PTR?
Wasn't it more so an issue with the mechanics? It wasn't.
So it was DPS. It was DPS. Ian said it was impossible for an X amount of DPS to be put out, and that's been totally shot down now because of the amount of damage it's been putting out.
Exactly.
To play, not devil's advocate, what is this? I'm just trying to be like a sensationalist right here. Just think about this. So, some would say, I might say, I'm inclined to say, that maybe Classic WoW possibly is sort of, not in a decline, but, it's the hype has can only last so long, right? And like we're kind of in this stable time, right? Like I think maybe that's fair to say, right? Stable time. You know, what would happen if Blizzard did, you know, release AQ4? Like they're already doing this 30 dungeon cap thing, right? They're already moving in this strange kind of Classic Plus direction. What if they open up AQ40 and they just buffed all the content like crazy, or they took away world buffs? Like what would actually happen though? Like how are people going to receive? Are more people going to come back to the game and go, what is going on here? Like, you know, is this?
That's a good point. I think taking away 2 world buffs is not going to happen, but I think, you know, possibly like Meldron said, like now that I'm thinking about this a little bit more, pre-nerf Cthulhu, I thought it was more of a mechanic issue originally. So, you know, something like that could Cargos bring more of a, oh wow, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Are things going to be different, more difficult? I think that is a possibility. You know, if you do something drastic in a positive way, it could be good for the game. If you do something drastic in a negative way, obviously it's going to be horrible for the game. So I think there's that risk factor to it. But you know, I don't think it's a bad thing to say, okay, we're going to go ahead with the pre-nerf Cthulhu or whatever because, you know, we feel like it's more in the element of classic WoW, right? Of a classic WoW feel, that people are not just going into Cthulhu in a post-nerf state. People are, you know, like pre-nerf Cthulhu nowadays is going to not be an issue for most guilds, for probably almost every guild that attempts it. If they're going out getting world buffs, is almost like so many guilds that are not even pushing, like, you know, are going out and getting world buffs or raids. Like it's not even that big of a thing anymore, right? So I think it's a realistic, it's realistic to think that now that I'm overthinking that, Melvin. I think it is probably a possible thing. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So one person that we all know, I don't want to put anybody's names out there, but someone has been doing some digging, and it looks like the damage values that are being, so the only thing that's testable right now is AQ20. Okay,
right.
The damage values that the mobs are putting out are matching those of a popular repack. Lighto repack. What I think is they're doing, I think it's maybe very possible that they're doing stealth changes to AQ.
Right.
At least AQ20. I don't know about AQ40, but at least AQ20.
Just to make it more challenging, like not a complete faithful or.
Yeah. Again, this is based upon just observation, right? I have no hard evidence of this. I'm just telling you that the numbers are getting closer to what they were on the Lighto repack, which means that they may be buffing stuff. I don't know.
Right, or is this because we're getting to a point where we're getting closer to 1.12 and things are feeling different? Things are feeling similar to how they were.
The mobs, not the players.
Right. So the damage of the mobs, like were the mobs in AQ just that much higher than what they were in other raids? You know what I mean?
Well, in preparation, this person down-tuned everything on the repack, right? To kind of think like, okay, they down-tuned. Molten Core was up-tuned by 40%, right? It was something like that on Lights Out.
On Lights Out.
And then it was like an X percent. So this person was like, okay, well, I'm gonna judge and say it's going to be this much percentage, but the numbers are actually matching a lot closer.
The Megalodon Cargo's return.
It's either that yes, AQ did scale like in a weird way, the difficulty of AQ scaled in a weird way, or they're stealth buffing the ring. I don't know. Again, this is all speculation. I have no proof of this, but Hamsterwheel has been, you know, he's been putting out videos, and Asmongold reacted to your video, Hamster, which is always a good feeling.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and so basically, Hamster's, you know, you put out multiple Next Ramus videos,
right?
And I tend to agree with you. I think that even though the damage output is extremely high in Classic, I think especially if these stealth changes keep going the way they do, or if it is stealth changes, I think people are underestimating how hard Next is going to be. I still believe that.
Okay, that's actually interesting because I know Asmongold reacted to my latest Next Ramus video where I made a bunch of predictions. One of those things I said in that video, which I have to correct, and I've corrected before, is it's also something Asmongold debunked, is the fact that Asmongold Patchwork in Next Ramus is a DPS race. I don't think Patchwork is going to be a DPS race because I wholeheartedly believe that people are going to do more DPS than generally speaking, of course. It's
Yeah.
But on private servers, because we see, I don't know, maybe you guys have seen it, but I've never seen people go this to this extent with like snapper charges on private.
Oh
servers.
yeah.
I haven't seen it. Maybe it has been out there, but I just haven't seen it. That's my own experience. I still think it's going to be a bit of a gear check because hateful strikes that Patchwork does are insanely huge. They do like 7 to 8k on a really good gear tank, and that's just one hit. So there's that.
That's going to be more an issue than yes, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But if what Meldron is saying is correct, where the damage values that they guessed on private servers are actually going to be a lot more closer in later content like AQ40 and Next, and yes, I think people will look at MC and BWL and say, oh, these bosses fall over from a stiff breeze, and we'll be able to just face roll through Next Rammus. If what Meldron is saying is correct, then I think people will have a pretty nasty expectation or up ahead of them, or I'm not sure what the term of word is, but I think you
yeah.
What I'm saying. Yeah.
But I think it's not just that, right? And I think a lot of people, I think we live in a bubble. We all here live in a bubble. Like we all do. You've cleared Nax in private servers. Cargos has played the game at a very high level. We're probably in the top 10% of guilds, right? Def Camp and I'd say that we're probably living in a bubble of like how difficult, and it's not just the boss hits harder, the armor values are higher. It's the fact that you have to get 2 sets of world buffs. You can't, you have to run through that giant place. Like Nax is huge, and then the fact that you have to get consumes twice a week, and that's why it's harder. It's not just the mechanics are more difficult. Which they are.
I feel like Meldron's gotten more hardcore, dude. Like I like it though, like towards world buffs and everything. You've kind of like I remember there was a turning point where, you can kind of set the direction of the raid and the guild and everything, and you guys were stepping up, trying to play, trying to go a little bit harder, right? Because it seems like
I think we had to take a harder look at what we actually wanted out of this game. Yeah.
Pushing times, making sure people are getting world buffs, chasing that stuff down.
Yeah, because if you wanted clear content, and you want to do it without wasting everyone's time, which is what I want to do, you got to do what you got to do, right? So, like for me, it was okay. Let's go get world buffs. Let's do this. We could clear BWL in 3 hours, but how about we clear BWL, MC, and Ani in 3 hours instead? You know what I mean? So it's like, what do you want out of the game?
Yeah, absolutely. Drinky just donated $100. Thank you very much.
Whoa,
I was curious to see if you're alive, man. Because a lot of people are dropping off. It's good to see you, dude. Good to see you in here. Executives gaming in the chat too, man.
Oh wow!
OG right there,
oh, dude, I love the new Shaman video, my man. I love it. I'll talk about that again. But I wanted to talk about what you're talking about, Meldron. I want to say this. I think, like a lot of people say, oh, you guys, you want changes. You all say no changes, but then when the change, oh, no changes, but some changes. Like that's not the argument. The argument is, if a change is inherently going to make Classic WoW feel more like Classic WoW, then in my eyes, that's a positive change. It's a good thing. You know what I mean? And if that means buffing the boss's armor or damage to feel more like it did in Classic WoW, that's a good thing. A change that is going to create something like, okay, bringing WoW tokens into the game. I think what people realize is saying, like a WoW token, the argument a lot of people have is, oh, well, it makes it more of a time, you don't have to invest as much time. Well, the time commitment part of Classic WoW is a huge part of Classic WoW. The reason why people say, oh, Classic WoW is hard, in quotations, is because of the time commitment. You take away that element out of the game, you take away a huge part of Classic WoW, in my eyes, right? So by implementing something like a WoW token, you can say, yeah, you can make it possible for more people to do Nax Rammus. That doesn't mean it's a good thing. It doesn't mean that that's going to make the game better. It means that, we got to make everyone have the same, everyone's going to have the same opportunities. Everyone's got to have this. No, the fact that Nax is inherently a hard place to get to and it takes more time and commitment to get there is a good thing for the game because it makes it, people strive to want to get that. That's what makes the game such a good fucking game. I just wanted to say that.
One of the reasons why Nax is still being talked to about this day, and one of the reasons why my videos get a lot of views when I talk about Nax, is because there's a lot of mystery around that place because very few people did it. Now, admittedly, it was also because TBC was pretty close, but it was also, it was a high requirement in terms of consumables, and that the tactics were a lot more punishing. I'm not saying they're super complex. I'm sure some mythic boss in WoW right now has a lot more complex mechanics, but the mechanics in Nax are a lot more punishing. So it created this kind of like air of mystery and like, well, what was it like?
You have
and why
a
so
damn good
few
video
people
on
cleared
that
it?
topic too, Hamster, that I think most people in the chat know you from. That classic patchwork thumbnail right there, that Hamsterwheel Nax video.
Oh yeah,
It's probably got a couple million views on it now at this point, man. It's been around.
I never thought it would take off like that. Absolutely never thought. It was actually, I think I might have told this before, but it was one of the videos where I wasn't even sure whether I was going to upload it. I looked at it, I was like, is it really this good? I'm not sure. I'm going to upload it anyway. Bam, 2 million views.
Wow, dude, that's amazing.
That's crazy.
How many years has it been since you made those videos, man? How many years has it been since you first started making classic WoW content, if you can try to think about it?
It's close to 7 years. December 2013.
God,
that's when I started. Yep,
2013.
that's when I started.
Def Camp Meld right now, it's got to be a couple years now, too. 3 years, 4 years, something like maybe.
What, since our first video?
First video since those Melderon
2016. 2016.
2016.
Wow, that's all 4 years. Damn, we're getting old, boys. We're getting old,
dude. But Hamster and Orchid are the reasons I started making content. So, I mean, I've got to talk to both of you guys, and it's great because you guys are the reasons why I started making content.
Awesome. Thank you very much, man. Shout out to Orkbit, our boy.
Dude, Orkbit's such a fucking good dude, man.
Yeah, and he plays Orc Elemental Shaman, so or at least Orc Shaman.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's cool that we all.
I think
we've all known each other for years now.
Yeah,
you know? Just weirdly through the internet, and enough time has passed that you can like see people's lives kind of, take next steps and stuff. It's cool,
Yeah. You can slowly see the bags under our eyes starting to form, and we were going bald and shit like that.
Dude, I wonder if we go back to the earliest private chat videos, you guys might look a little younger, dude. You might look a little more boyish.
Like a future podcast.
Maybe Melderon's forest vlogs? Nah, he looks.
Oh yeah, those are old.
All the forest vlogs, dude. Yeah.
Yeah,
but I was making way shittier content before that, Cargos. I was making like.
Yeah.
I know, but it was like it was way shittier. It was like basically like it was horrible. Like
I remember my first video was like a 2-hour guide on TBC Priest.
Really?
Like me just like talking nonstop about it. It was horrible. It's like, I'm going to go take these talents, and this is good because of this, and it's like 2 hours of me, and it's just horrible, but it's funny stuff to look back on. But
all right, so I just want to kind of talk about predictions. I don't know. So no, about classic stealth.
Oh, okay.
I mean, obviously AQ is gonna. Okay, if Cthulhu launches pre-nerf, let's just pretend it does. Do you think it's gonna be clear day one?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I still think
Absolutely.
I mean, they killed 5 priests, dude, and people were speculating that 5 priests would be harder than any boss in Classic.
Every raid is going to be cleared day one, no matter if it's.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm just wondering. Yeah.
What about the gist of the Classic players? Do you think they will clear it in like day one or week one? Week one, two, like.
No, I think that most guilds, so greater than 50%, will not clear it in week one.
Absolutely.
Okay. I know that's a large range of, but I think that's technically 51%, which is not a, but I think Cthulhu's going to be tough for a lot of people.
Yes, and so I think possibly 5% of the guilds may get week one clears. 5% maybe.
5%?
Maybe 5%.
Wow. Okay. Maybe. I'm willing to say a little bit more than that.
Yeah. I'd say 25%. I'd say, I can see people doing it in week one. I mean, there's guilds that might struggle with Cthulhu, but seeing how many people take Classic WoW seriously, it might take them a lot of attempts to kind of get used to. Oh shit, we have new damage values, and oh my god, Cthulhu is you got to be precise with your positioning and all that. But I think 25%. It's just a prediction. I don't know, but I think 25% will clear it in week one.
Even if it's pre-nerf.
Oh,
that's what was the question, right? I thought
that will really throw like a wrench into the whatever the term or expression is.
I misunderstood. I'm sorry. I thought you meant if it was pre-nerf.
Oh, okay. Well, pre-nerf.
That's what I was going off of. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Pre-nerf. I'm not sure how, because again, right now we're saying that The reason pre-nerf is possible because back then the numbers Ian crunched, we've seen people take it really far with DPS like Saber Charge and all that stuff. So right now we're predicting that the guilds can clear content pre-nerf. If that is true, oh man, that's a really tough question. I'd still say like 10-15%.
Yeah.
It's tough though. It's really tough.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, for an example, let's see. I just want to look at the numbers real quick of some DPS.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So, like Onslaught last night when they did their speed run, I don't know how I can get to the log, but fuck. I'll try to figure it out.
Do you guys think the timing with
But Warriors doing 1800 DPS?
That's
right?
insane, dude. That's insane.
I mean, like. Like I can get you the real numbers, but I know for sure they're doing between 1500 to 1900 damage. Some of these like high end rates, right? So like,
what do you think the timing is going to be like with TBC and just WoW in general in the coming year with this whole pandemic? I mean, it's undoubtedly pushed some stuff back. I would assume. Like, did Shadowlands get officially delayed? That's another.
Not yet. I don't believe it has, but I do think it's definitely going to push things back.
Before I was thinking it was going to be TBC next summer, right? But with no ability to announce it at BlizzCon, and is there a virtual BlizzCon or did they straight up just cancel?
They didn't confirm one, but they said it's a high probability they'll have one in early 2021. They'll have a virtual BlizzCon. Okay. Yeah.
I know we're kind of going all over with topics right here, but I just wanted to go back what you were saying, Melderon, and I was thinking of TBC as well. So. In Classic WoW, we rely heavily on Warriors to give us these numbers, right? To give us these crazy clear times. TBC, we're not going to be able to rely on Warriors like that. Is it going to make that a big difference on clear times? And is that going to make TBC a little bit harder in that respect?
Wait, so are you saying since we don't have these numbers, but then Warlocks are going to fill the niche, aren't they?
I understand Warlocks are, but like, are you really going to run with 20 Warlocks?
Oh.
Is that, you know what I mean? Like,
well, the 25-man raid doesn't allow you to stack, do a lot of this weird stacking.
But like, inherently, like what I'm saying is, Classic is a lot easier than actual vanilla. Big in part by Warriors being thrown into high numbers into these raids, right? Yeah. Obviously, you're not going to have that option with TBC. So will TBC be closer to what it was like? Because the comps are going to be more of what they were like in TBC. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Because world buffs are not a thing anymore. There's like so many different buffs you can get right now that aren't viable anymore in Burning Crusade. As far as we know, I'm not sure Blizzard going to change anything. But I mean, I've tested Warrior DPS. Now, admittedly, I'm not the best Warrior. Obviously. But the numbers were nowhere near what people are doing right now. And that's mainly because you can't buff yourself. I mean, what was Rallying Cry of the Dragon Slayer? That's like 100 attack power and 5 crit, right? 5% crit?
Yeah, 10 crit for melee. 10 crit for melee.
10%. How much gear do you have to get in Burning Crusade to get 10% crit? That is insane.
Exactly.
And that is one world buff. It is crazy how powerful it is.
And on top of that, and then you got ZG on top of that, and then you got Songflower on top of that.
Like when I made that world buff video last year, people were like, "You're exaggerating how much power they're giving you." I'm like, you're literally having another 40 people in the raid, basically.
Exactly. Yeah, there we go.
It's like it's like
exactly what I'm saying though. The fact is now in TBC you won't be able to do that. So I think TBC will be much closer to what TBC was like, even though it's going to be 2.4.3, right? Yeah. It's going to be closer to what it was really like. Whereas in Classic is so different than what it was really like.
Yeah. So maybe like more than 20 people, but still, you're getting a lot. The increases. However, though, I think there's some meta that's going to come out of TBC, right? Like with shaman bloodlust rotations and stuff like that, and maybe you would stack a whole bunch of casters. I don't know. Like I'm not really sure, but it's going to be interesting to see how you're going to work with a less amount of people, right? And without world buffs. I'm interested to see what comes out of there.
Yeah.
The meta's going to shift.
Yeah, so I think that's a good thing, and I think that is something to look forward to for me at least. Is that we're going to have a more realistic TBC in that respect. Now, I think that's a big reason why Classic might have to. But the thing is, not every guild does that, right? Not every guild has 20 warriors. Like for a long time, we didn't have more than like 3 DPS warriors. You know what I mean? Now we've got like 12, something like that. So it makes a huge difference. So should we make a change based on what the 1% of people are doing, or the 5% or 10%, 20%, whatever, the minority of people, right? So that's a question that I think is important to ask. Is like, and I think I think it's to a point. I think maybe but like maybe not to go too far with it, right? Like whatever is going to happen is people are still going to clear shit day one, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. No matter what. But how far do we go in order to make it more of a challenge for some people, but not? I still think most people are going to clear the content no matter what, right?
So I'm just looking at their logs, right? So Vale, you have Unlimited Rage, but guess how much the top DPS warrior did on Vale last night in Onslaught?
Unlimited Rage.
Yeah.
2K plus.
Yeah. 3,000 DPS.
3,000 DPS. Jeez,
I looked up yesterday. I looked up a video of a guild on a private server doing Brutalis. Sunwell Plateau. Almost no one got above 3K. Almost no one.
Wow. See, there you go.
And those people were buffed up the ass.
Yep.
What was the fight time on Vale for that, Melron?
Oh, dude, their Vale kill was Vale kill was 17 seconds. 17 seconds.
God.
That's insane.
Yeah. 17 seconds.
17 seconds. Yep. Broodlord was 37 seconds. Firemaw was 30 seconds.
Jesus,
imagine because they killed him at the same time was a minute.
Imagine forgetting to summon your imp during Vale. You summon him and he's already on 30%.
Yeah, right? Well, 3%, whatever, So, like...
Whatever,
what's the longest fight is probably Chromagus from the time that...
Neff is a minute 5.
Yeah, because of the ads, you can't speed up.
The ads, right?
Oh, so Chromagus was a second slower than Neff. It was a minute 6 on Chromagus. Yeah.
Yeah, because like from beginning to end, I think Neff is probably quicker if you're just talking about Neff himself. You know what I mean?
No, just Neff is a minute 5 for them, so it's a minute. It's second faster than Chromagus. Yeah, but still, so like, okay, what we're trying to say here, guys. I know we went off like a nerdy path. Is that we're doing TBC DPS numbers now, right? This is what the Hamster's trying to say, and it's because of world buffs.
Yeah.
And you can say to your blue in the face how much you like to pump and how much you like to parse, and that's fine. I get it. I fucking get the world buffs too. But it's crazy that, like, this is why the game's easy. This is another reason why the game's easy, right? Is because of this,
Big true.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of things that Blizzard can course correct, though. Should they feel like they need to come TBC, and that's why I'm thinking about it, because TBC will likely be... Well, how do people feel about the current state of the game? Maybe people love it right now. Is Scarum still packed on, when you go to Orgrimmar, or at least on the Horde side? Are all the servers still packed?
Still 5,000 Horde population, active Horde population,
Let me be clear. I'm having fun playing the game right now. Absolutely. It doesn't mean that we can't work at it and make it better. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying, like, that pre-launch hype, that shot of adrenaline into the community and the system, all it takes is for them to play the TBC trailer at BlizzCon and say it's coming, man. That's when you're going to see the heart rate start spiking. You're going to see hundreds of new videos, thousands of new people getting involved every day. Because I know, even in my close personal circle, I don't know if you guys have any people like my friend Jose and Michi, like, they will play the game. That's enough for them. TBC is enough for them to actually come back and play WoW, and they haven't touched the game in like 10 years. They would play.
What class would you pick in TBC? I can't wait to see 30 of those.
Right?
I have to make a real quick connection, by the way. It wasn't Brutalist, it was a different boss, but it was still Sunwell Plateau, and no one did over 3k DPS. So
that's crazy.
Still insane number. So a little correction there. There you go.
Yeah.
With regard to launch, with regard to a lot of their failures and successes, going into TBC, Blizzard has a chance to, maybe steer the ship a little bit better, possibly, but there's also a slippery slope, because they could scuff it beyond our wildest imagination. Nothing's impossible with Activision Blizzard. But if they re-roll out some classic servers too, maybe they could do a round 2 in a better vein. I don't know.
Did anything come from that survey they did where they were saying, like, would you want to start at level 1 or level 58? Did anything come out of that? Or
no, nothing.
Yeah, not that I've heard. No.
We actually recently talked about this on one of our podcasts we had with a viewer, and I think we can talk about what you guys would think would be best, but I think for me, I think a big part of playing an MMO is to being able to progress your character, right? Progressing your character through, I think losing my character and all his achievements and all the pieces of gear and all the memories that I have would be a big detriment to me, to TBC. I think moving and progressing your character is a huge part of the game. I want to see that. However, I know that there's going to be another issue with factions. I know there's an issue with, realm sizes, this, that, and the other. I think we can hopefully find a middle ground to be able to, fix these issues with the realms, fix these issues with the factions. Maybe having a cap on how many you can have on each realm for no more than 60% or something like that. I don't know, but I think starting from zero, from level 1 or whatever with a new character, I don't think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah. Can you imagine Hellfire Peninsula with when it just opens on like a 90% horde server and you standing in Honorald? It would be a nightmare.
The thing that I'm concerned about, I've said before too, is that like it might be the type of thing where you have this expectation of all these old memories of how it was when TBC launched back when you were a freshman in high school or whatever it was for me. I think that's when it was. Like you have these fond memories of going through, doing the all the Hellbore quests, picking up the Hellbore turds, and getting scraps,
the dung and whatever
the metal and all that. Yeah. And then it may come launch day, and you step through. Not only is it a laggy, sharded clown fiesta, but there's multi-boxers with like 40 accounts because you can only do 30 instances capped. So like there's even more of an incentive to have multi-box. You can't even move. All the health board turds are being picked up because people know each spawn location due to an add-on, and it's just like an absolute clown fiesta. So I mean, there's room to steer it better, possibly. For me, I know this is worthless to say. I feel like one person out in the audience like this connects with. But if I had to pick one thing that makes me sort of less inclined to play the game actively and be an active member of the community and to get in there and to get out there and to feel compelled to log in every morning, I know it sounds ridiculous, but for me, it's just the sort of degradation of the leveling. The sanctity of leveling in that sense of like it feels like you achieve something when you get to level 60. You feel like that long grind is there, and it's almost this infinite value loop of content, and it's so fun. When you trivialize the process of getting to 60 and leveling up so fast, that if I had to pick one single factor, messes it.
So I tend to agree with you. Like we talked about this in our Discord, one of our guild meetings, and we were like, TBC's coming out, blah blah, and everyone's like, we're gonna be, I wonder how the dungeon route's gonna look to get to 70. And I'm like, Def Camp Forever, we're not fucking doing that. We're leveling up the world, dude. Like we're gonna run dungeons, sure. Yeah. When we have the quests and stuff, or I don't want to. I'm not going to sit there in dungeons all day because I'm going to get to 70 in 3 hours or whatever, and get. No, dude. No, bro. Yeah. I've been waiting too long for this, dude. It's
Despite knowing that in, correct me if I'm wrong, in Outland there's a lot more neutral quest hubs, if I believe, like what is it called?
Cenarian Grove or whatever the fuck it is.
There's even those orcs in like Hellfire.
The what's the name dudes? In Negrand that have like the bandages, the void dude. What are they called? The
Sortium, I think.
Sortium. Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah.
Mm.
But I say you guys are troopers. I mean, again, it depends. Like Blizzard said, they wouldn't bring layering back, I believe. But how are they going to tackle like 12,000?
Didn't they bring it back already though for Classic? They brought it back a little bit. That was one thing that was kind of shocking. They kind of just brought it back a little bit.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how are they going to handle like if they're going to say no layering? How is Hellfire Peninsula going to look like? Exactly what you guys are saying. It's going to be one super laggy like mess. And there's going to be, like you said, Cargos, there's going to be there's going to be a party of 5 people just all standing around one Hellbore turd, and it's going to be that for every Hellbore turd spawn location. So
yeah,
I don't know, man.
What is the economy going to look like, though? Is the economy going to be an absolute joke in the sense that, let's say the gates open and people have had months and months with Naxxon Farm or something at this point, and they have an infinite amount of gold at this point. They have thousands and thousands of gold. They're going to be able to go through the gates.
You got to do a gold cap.
So absolutely have to have a gold cap.
That's what I'm saying, though. So, like, all those fond memories you have of being like, oh, I was the first guy to create cleft hoof leatherworking bags and like or armor and sell them, and I became a legend. Like as soon as the gates open, multi-boxers, bam, level 70, they get all the gear instantly. They buy the epic mounts. They have everything. They have druids in every single location, in their flight form.
But it happened back in the day too. You had people who had a obscene amount of gold at the end of vanilla,
not knowing exactly what to do.
We knew when TBC was going to come out, when vanilla.
But you didn't know how the crafting was going to pan out. People know jewel craft,
how to farm this, how to farm that.
No, but what I'm saying is, you knew that like a lot of people were like, oh, I'm going to save gold for TBC launch. You know what I mean? I'm saying that I don't think the answer is to put everyone on a level playing field, to say, okay, everyone has to start at level 1 and work your way up. I don't think that's the answer, because you didn't have that back in vanilla. You had people who saved a whole shitload of gold, who said, okay, I want to do this jewel crafting thing because I think it's going to be like, you had a bunch of people save mats and this, that, and the other, and like knew the plan ahead. That's something that's going to happen inevitably. I think it's inevitable that's going to happen. Yes.
Yeah. But then you have people that actually have a plan and say like, oh, I know that I can farm this dungeon per X times per day. That wasn't happening back then.
No, the dungeon thing is different. I'm talking about economy, like, you know what I mean?
The economy. They're gonna farm shit in there to fuck the economy up, right?
It's Carl brought up a really good point with the multi-boxers. You guys know Spellcloth, right? The item in Burning Crusade that is used to create some of the, like, I'm pretty sure it's for Spellfire, and I think the equivalent is Shadow Weave or something, like for the Frozen Shadow Weave. You have two variants, basically. So basically, those are very sought-after clothes, or cloths, that you can only craft. Oh, there was a cooldown on it. I'm pretty sure there was a cooldown on it. If I'm wrong, then please correct me. But what is going to happen with all these multi-boxers? They're going to be able to create 40 of those Spellcloths in a day or 2 days. It's going to be insane.
I don't like
even think of that. Wow.
I know people personally that multi-box, and it's like they're whatever, it's fine, like they do it, but I personally do not think that multi-boxing should be allowed.
100%.
I think it's a clear unfair advantage.
100%. It's immersion breaking, so it's sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's the type of thing where it seems super hype, TBC super hype, and we love it. And we have this Goldilocks period heading into TBC where everybody's making guides and they're remembering everything. They're calling up all their old friends from college and high school and saying, TBC's coming, let's go, start a guild. Like, I'm going to be main tank, I'm going to be a healer, I'm going to beat this, I'm going to beat that. Everybody's hype. And then it launches, and then it's gone. All the resources are gone. Everybody's level 70 in one day. That type of feeling feels bad, man, maybe for the average player. And maybe that only is a small percentage of people. But if I was Blizzard, I'd be thinking about those types of things. Like, how do we adjust the pacing to combat?
Yeah, because look what happened in Classic, right? All those fucking XP rates were off, right? People were doing 10-man raids of all the dungeons, getting insane amounts of XP that it wasn't supposed to be getting, right?
Yeah.
Even before Classic came out, because of the beta, we all realized how easy the dungeons were. So like, people were already setting up like cleave groups and like.
Oh yeah.
But this is why, again, I don't think, like, I understand what you're saying, but I still don't think that starting at level 1 is the answer, because if you start everyone up at level 1, you're just making people want to get to level 60 or 70 even faster. So everyone's going to say, well, fuck you, you took my level 60 away. Now I want to get to level 60 and just dungeon grind, because I'm going to get there as fast as I can now. And now you cause the same issue that you already had.
You create a longer runway, though. You do create a longer runway. So, like, even if you are super sweaty, it will take longer.
A single path for most people, right? The same single path, because now everyone wants to get to level 60 where they were just as soon as they can, and everyone's going to do it the quickest way. So I think that is trying to solve the issue by having the same problem, right? The fact is, this is classic WoW, right? This is the game where your character grows in so many, like it's an MMORPG. Your character's supposed to grow. You take away all my memory, my character. You take away all my memories that I had from, like, you take away, the gear that I had. Not my memories, but like you take away a big part of that, a big token of what I've achieved, right? That's a huge problem right there. And you're just going to create.
Why do you think I'm getting rank 11? Getting them for the mounts.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That's, you're going to take my mounts away. You're going to take.
Honestly, they should just buff everything, dude.
Who got, the mount from opening Ankarash like that. You're going to take that away from people. You're going to take away their ZG mounts. You're going to take away all this. You can't do that.
Yeah, they can't do that. You're right. They're not going to do that either. They're not going to do that.
Exactly.
But, so what is the solution? The closest solution, not to say there even needs to be, because TBC will come out, just like I said, and I'll still have fun playing it. You'll still have fun playing it, Hamster. But that runway of fun, those butterflies of fresh and new and excitement will just go away faster. You're just going to, it's going to fizzle out faster.
I agree.
So what they could do is what Endless has done, and it seems like Endless is being way more successful than I would have even thought they would be, right? Like they have so many people playing on that server. I'm not even playing on it because I've just been chilling, being a friggin', country boy or whatever. But the
farmer, yeah.
they just so I'm so brown right now. They just like 5x the maybe they didn't 5x it, but they increased the difficulty of everything, right? The mobs hit harder, the dungeons are harder. If they did that in TBC,
I think they need to increase the difficulty of everything. I 100% agree.
Yeah, and I think if they don't purge dungeons, Bucklave runs, so 70 characters for TBC. Yeah, I think you need to highly. If someone is coming in a dungeon and is max level with people that are 10, 15 levels below, they should get a huge cut in XP. Absolutely, but what do you do for dungeon cleaves and this, that, and the other? Yeah, if you have if this you get 2 guys on you, it's going to kill the clothy immediately. You're going to need a tank and need to do CCs. Heroic dungeons in TBC private servers are hard enough to the point where you have to CC, right? If you're especially if you're in pre-raid bits and shit like that, everyone's going to have not great gear, right? So you shouldn't be able to just bring 5 people to just bypass that, right from the get-go at level 60 or something like that. I agree. I think you have to make the difficulty to the point where you can't just have this over and over again. But I think people are still going to try to find a way around it, and it's probably inevitably going to happen. That's the thing. It's people
make it so they can't. You
humble, always
dude.
Find the easiest route.
Rank up the guy.
Right? So water. You know how water finds the closest, source, whatever like that. If it finds the closest
Quickest
route.
way down.
People are the same way.
Yeah.
People are going to find the path of least resistance, and that's going to be inevitable. It just depends on what you do. Right? Are you going to make a stand and say, "Hey, I think this is bad. I'm going to promote this," and that's all I have control over, what I can do, and say, I hope that this is going to happen. I hope that people emulate this, whatever. This is what I want to do, and that's the only control we have over it.
Yeah.
So basically, you're saying you should kind of leave it up to the individual whether you want to just follow the absolute best meta or just kind of make a conscious decision of just not just absolutely race through content and I don't know, collect thousands of netherweave cloth or whatever and just do it at your own pace. Is that kind of what you're trying to say here?
Yeah, to an extent, I think there are always going to be people who are going to try to take advantage of shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
You have to
defend the world a little bit. Drinky, thank you very much again for the $100. He says if it's too hard, you can always play EverQuest Classic. I've never played EverQuest, really, but thanks again for that. What I'm saying though is so we've become so smart and we have all the access. We have all the keys to the castle with databases and stuff, right? Even in Classic, we've seen how it played out. The no changes attitude has softened. Can we all agree there? It has, even myself included. There's already a bunch of changes. I'm kind of just living in that world, and the game isn't fun enough, honestly, for me to care that much about changes anymore, to be honest. So the changes are a little bit less impactful. So when it comes to TBC, they could embrace the changes a little bit in the sense and just crank up the difficulty a little bit, because you're defending the world. You're everybody's trying their very best to exploit the world, and even with Classic, there was tons of strats in Classic that we never saw in private servers. These one pull mage things, did you ever see those in any of the private servers where they're literally pulling all of Maradon, all of dungeons in one pull and killing them all? I don't know. We never saw that level of stuff before.
Exactly. What you're saying is, I saw similar stuff, but never to that extent. Again, same with the speedruns. I saw guilds. I know guilds did speedruns on private servers, but not to this extent, and not with a whole bunch of new mats where we thought sapper chargers. Never thought of that. Damn. Okay. Well, that's the new meta. Here we go. Everyone gets sapper chargers.
So stuff like that. I mean, it's food for thought, guys. And Blizzard said, okay, we saw how Classic planned out. We're going to crank it up to 1.5x difficulty across the board. The game's still going to be the game we know and love. Things are just going to be a little bit tougher, a little bit rarer, a little bit scarcer. Things aren't going to come as easy. And here's a thought: what would happen if they just wiped all the gold? 0 gold. They don't even tell anybody. Launch day, bam, 0 gold. You log in. You have all of your gear. What are you going to complain about, Def Camp?
Yeah.
People have all their gear. They have their mounts.
You have people very upset. I'm just.
Some people will go with pitchforks to the Blizzard headquarters.
What if Blizzard says sorry, not sorry, baby? Like, you know, like that wasn't that those tough, spicy decisions that Blizzard never made because people always want to keep increasing their power level and seeing their character grow. You would still have all your items. You would just have no money. I don't know.
Who would it mess up the most, though? I'd say it would mess up Chinese gold farmers the most, though. So in that regards,
I disagree. I think it's going to mess with 90% of the player base because 90% of people are going to try to save some amount of money for TBC, and even these people who worked very, very hard for the gold they have, and they only have, say, 2k gold, like, oh, I'm going to begin, I have a little bit of a start, it really fucks those people more. I understand, you're really sticking to gold sellers, and that feels good in a way, but I feel like you're fucking the middle class, the people who worked hard for their gold.
Yeah, you guys take money away from middle class. You're shrinking the middle class.
The middle class.
No, but I think like sticking it to be able to stick it to that 1% to fuck everybody is not the solution. You can't say fuck everybody to get that one person. You know what I'm saying?
It might help though. It might help the middle class though, Def Camp. It might help the middle class.
This one person. We're gonna kill everybody so that we get this one person, this bad guy. We're gonna kill everybody.
It might help the middle class though, Def Camp, because I'm the middle class in game. You think I'm rich when I play Classic WoW, guys? I am like a few gold away from being broke. Like I'm always hovering.
Well, because you ain't playing right now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm just saying. Like,
how's that fair to you?
Even when I'm actively playing Def Camp, I'm never a rich baller in game. I just never have been.
How's
never
that
will
fair
be.
to me? That the fact, like I'm saying, like just using me and you for example,
Okay.
I'm playing a lot right now.
So
I'm
how much
getting
gold do you have? How much gold?
How's that fair that we both start at the same place?
Well, here's the thing, because let's say you start. Let's say TBC comes around and you have 2k gold, right? Like you said, you have 2k gold. You feel like, all right, I have a good start. Like I can buy some freaking Talbuk water or whatever. Like I'll be good. And so you get wiped, but so do all the super sweaty like onslaught players, and the gold farmers get wiped. So they're not able to kind of snowball further ahead fast enough, or people aren't able to kind of like pay to win, just buy gold.
They worked for that though.
Hold on. But I think the way to just do this is just have a cap. Just have a cap.
Yeah, exactly. Have a cap. Yeah.
Have a cap. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's no way you should be able to bring in 100,000 gold in the TBC.
No fucking way. But
like that, I'm sorry, that's just.
But what if they all put it into? What if they're big brain about it and they put it into stacks of items that will be?
Well, then honestly, I think that rewards someone for being smart.
Exactly. That's the way the world is, man. And people.
I have to say, sure. I understand your intentions are good cargoes, but there's this old saying: the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Exactly.
So you want gold cap? Where do you guys officially land on this at the moment? You guys want TBC with gold cap?
I think so. Gold, for me, it's gold cap and increased difficulty. That's the two things I want to see.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, we're getting somewhere.
Graves brought up some good points about about the dungeon meta, and the only thing I'm trying to understand is how can you. Gray suggested a flat decrease to dungeon XP, and I kind of agree. Although that really hurts people who just do the dungeons for the quests, right? And okay, what I'm trying to say is I run every dungeon at least once on my way up to a level cap in every game and every expansion. That's what I do, right? Because I love dungeons. Am I exploitative doing that? I would say no, right? So should I get hit? And how can you select someone who should get hit? I don't think you can. So I think Grace's point is actually might be valid. You might have to knock everyone's XP down. I don't know.
Well, knock everyone's XP. Yeah. Wait, what do you mean by XP?
In dungeons, to remove the cleaving meta, to reduce the cleaving meta.
Yeah, I think. But the thing is though, what gets me on this, Meldron, is it's just going to cause a new meta. It's people are going to find a new meta, and then everyone's
going to try to min-max as much as possible, right? And then certain quests. But the thing is, it's very hard to min-max questing zones because there's people there, right?
There are, but people will find. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find this place where places thing respawns really quick, and now you have an issue of people trying to do this quest, and you have people just farming XP in this one zone or something like that. Just saying that's an example of something else.
It's self-fixing behavior, right? Because if you have someone going in there and killing the spawns, then someone else is going to get mad and they're going to go somewhere else.
That's one example where I'm saying you're going to have a repercussion that's going to cause I'm not saying that the dungeon thing is right in any way. I'm just saying you're going to cause a new problem, and who knows that consequence is going to be worse than the consequence we already have. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like Atticus' idea. Subsequent dungeon runs give less and less XP.
I like that too. That's a pretty damn good idea. Yeah.
Like, so you can still do it if you want like an item, sick item or something, but it just becomes, you just increase that runway of fun. Quick question for you, Hamster. You said you're still on the fence, even coming back for TBC, right? Because you've done TBC, you know how it goes. Yeah. If the difficulty was cranked up to the point where it was truly spicy, you watch some noob zone into Hellfire Peninsula, he goes and engages a Hellboard, charges him, and one-shots him, bam! And it was tougher. Would that make you want to play more or less, or you still kind of would just be like in?
It would. Man, that's actually a really good question, because then you have to really think. You can't really. You have to rethink the way you're gonna level. So that definitely would throw a. What do you guys call it? Monkey wrench into things, or whatever the term or expression is.
A wrench into whatever. I don't even know myself.
See, the thing is, it really. The thing that's really holding me back with Burning Crusade is the classes you can play and the rotations. That's the reason why I'm so just hung up about it. That's probably the main reason, because I've played every single class, I've played every single spec. I've played some specs more, I've played some specs less, but I kind of know what to expect. Now, if for some reason, whatever Blizzard changes, let's say if they do change something, it completely changed the meta. Like, for instance, okay, let me give you an example. I'm a hunter in Classic. Okay, if they choose to make it so that you take your existing character, you don't start from level 1, you just take that character and you go instantly to Burning Crusade, you walk through the Dark Portal, you start questing. If that's the case, then I'm not sure, like, I know what to expect with the hunter to some extent, like the one button macro. That is like the meta for hunters right now. It is really powerful, but it is so goddamn boring. I don't know if you guys ever played a hunter like that.
No.
I've done it. It is really boring, and I know that there's other classes and DPS rotations that are pretty boring, like the Shadow Destruction Warlock. I understand, but it's just I'm not really looking forward to do that. So, oh man, that's really tough.
Will the macro system change that? The new macro system, will that change how that works in any way?
It might. I kind of hope it does. I mean, okay, let me put it this way: if they do buff the values to the point where you really have to rethink your way of leveling, or rethink of way of pulling mobs and dungeons, stuff like that, and they change the macro so that you really can't use that one button macro where you just spam one button over and over again, and my friends are like, hey Hamster, you want to level again? I might be like, I might subscribe. I don't know. I might do it. Yeah. I'm just really torn about this right now. I'm just not sure. Again, I don't know when will BC even launch. Like, what are you guys' predictions? I mean, it's gonna be like what?
I think summer, fall.
Like a year.
You still think summer? I was gonna say summer. I thought they were gonna announce it at this BlizzCon. It was gonna be super hype. They're gonna play like the Chromie shit in reverse, and they're gonna show Illidan saying "You were not prepared," and then summer. Yeah. But with the Corona pandemic and all this, I don't know, man. Maybe
fall. Maybe fall. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so in like a couple of months, you're saying?
Oh, sorry, not this fall. Next fall.
Oh, 2021. Oh. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What I mean is, there's still a ton of time. I don't know where I will be at in terms of real life 2 in 2021 fall. I just have no idea. But under those premises that I just said, maybe. I still don't know. I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's a big decision, right?
Yeah.
And Atticus, we talked about it. I think we're all on the same page when it comes to gold cap. I think that's something that needs to be done. As far as crafting materials, though, that's going to be tough to police. I don't know. I mean...
someone said you just allow soulbound items and no non-soulbound items. Or something
Before I goldfish out and forget this point, I'm just saying. So if they stayed par for the course with how they did Classic, they rolled out TBC in the same way, and we have all the same possible issues that we have in Classic and TBC. You know what the difference is in TBC though? That why it would be different? Guess what's different about TBC that Classic doesn't have? People are complaining about pacing and difficulty. Arena.
Arena,
which is as hard as you want to. Yeah, which is as hard as you want to make it. It's that it's that PvP element there that will just add a whole nother factor into the equation, right?
Absolutely.
So Arena is very timeless in and of itself. So if you layer that on top of everything else, so that's just something to think about.
Arena is daily engagement in the game that people can. I mean, Arena is great. Trust me, someone who's been ranking, and Atticus can tell you all about that. He got High Warlord, so the system in Classic WoW is fundamentally flawed. It is horrible. The honor system sucks. I don't think anybody in here actually likes it. If you guys do,
the more you learn about it, it's especially with the way it is now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to have a skill based competition. You know what I mean? and I'm only going to 11, so I can't imagine what. And Atticus did it like months ago when it was really bad. So like I don't even want to think about how bad that was. But he was playing like 20 hours a day.
So one of the
he actually hit High Warlord. Excuse me, sorry to interrupt. He hit High Warlord.
Atticus did this.
Yeah, he was in one of the first groups to hit it. I think. Like
Holy shit! I didn't know. Congrats, man. I don't know if you're watching this, but congrats, man. That's awesome.
He's in chat. He's in chat. He's in YouTube chat.
Awesome.
Sorry. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have it open right now because my internet's kind of janky for some reason, so I don't want to open up YouTube and make this whole thing crash. So I'm not looking at the chat right now, but that's awesome, dude. Congrats, Atticus. Really appreciate it.
He said
cool.
thank you.
Okay. Awesome.
So I just can't wait till a system that's based on skill and not on time investment.
I can't wait either. And I think the other part of that as well is you have a huge following of people who love TBC Arena in particular, and I think it can overall what it could do for the game by potentially bringing some of these really big PvP brains back into the classic world, right? Whether it's TBC, that maybe even having TBC Arena like events like
oh my god, yes.
You know what I mean?
I can't wait for that stuff. I can't wait.
Me too. So I think TBC could actually in fact be bigger than classic.
Oh, I think so too, bro. Yeah, I think I mean. Right, it's gonna. I definitely think it's gonna be bigger than classic now.
It has the nuts and bolts and guts to be bigger than classic because classic is very gatekeepy. I think for a lot of reasons, not just like end game PvE or not this and not that. It's like you have to be able to. I don't know. TBC has things that are just like repeatable quests. You have all these rep grinds you can do. You have arena.
Pacing wise and visually too, it strikes that balance between the retail Volpera lovers and the OG classic boys. Hamster, you're worried about rotation stuff too, though, but that's another thing. The arena throws a monkey wrench into that too, right? Because there's not really a rotation in arena. Are you into PvP? Would that be something you'd be interested in? I mean, because that type of stuff is kind of timeless.
I mean, that really depends. I mean, that's a good question. I can't really give an answer on that. I'll be honest. I don't think I've ever PvP with a hunter on TBC before, so I might actually be looking to check that out. Actually,
pretty fun.
Sure it is.
I'm probably gonna get my ass kicked like a lot because I have not a whole lot of PvP experience to begin with, and like next to zero experience with a hunter in PvP. But that might be a fun challenge.
I'll roll with you, bro. We'll do like a rogue hunter or discipline hunter or something like that. It'd be pretty fun.
This hunter apparently is amazing. Yeah, you just play keep away the whole time with Viper's thing. You just run away like a little girl.
Okay.
Really fucking good,
yeah.
All right. Well, it depends on what Blizzard's gonna do. If they, for some reason, give you the option to start at level 58, I might actually re-roll. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But I might check it out. Who knows? Yeah. What about you guys? Are you guys gonna do like arena or?
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm doing my priest is so back in the day I played priest rogue in PvP. Okay. And that's what I'm gonna do again. I think I'm gonna do priest and rogue. I think rogue in TBC arena is probably one of the most fun. I think the skill set is pretty fucking high. Like the skill cap for rogue is very high. To be a really good rogue, to know when to CC and when to like go for the kill, in that CC time, that gap and stuff like that, like is very, very fun to me. And I think playing a priest is a lot of fun, whether it's shadow or discipline in PvP. Just for me, it's one of those things where it's like just keeps giving, right? It just like keeps giving. It's just like
One super random thought I never thought about this before is that how a lot of people don't like spell batching now. Like it doesn't really bother me that much, but the 400 millisecond spell batching people, and I think it's fair to say that the majority of like the really big brain PvPers who actively PvP and do pre-mades and stuff have kind of don't enjoy it now at this point. I've heard a lot of complaints, from that perspective. TBC would solve that, right?
I think.
Yes, I believe it would, yeah.
I'd say from experience, one of the worst things in the world is a fucking rogue vanishing your fucking lightning bolt, or a druid shape-shifting at the right second and negating all your damage.
Yes, that's the worst. It's like, however, I love elementary mastery with the double crit, so it's like what I mean?
We do have that. So Elemental Shaman pretty scary. Not that they weren't scary before in private servers, but more scary now.
It's gonna be interesting, Cargos. I think that's something we have to explore. Is that batching could potentially, like, you can still potentially vanish a coil or something like that, in TBC if you time it right. But I love the fact of being able to, Shadow Word Death a poly, right? Like, that's something that I hope will still better work.
Just a
like,
smaller
that is, like,
batching window, probably.
Like, that's so strong, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Shadow Word Death Blind. I mean, that's one of my my buddies on the TBC private server did that, where he Shadow Word Death himself, and then when the rogue blinded him, he got damaged and he got out of it. So stuff like that is really cool.
It's great. Yeah.
I think overall, one of the things that excites me the most about TBC, though, is that we know a lot less about the game. I know you know a tremendous. There's probably a few people on the planet Earth that know more about TBC than you, Hamster. Like with the breadth of content you have. But on that same note, the classic vanilla WoW had a huge following on private servers for many years, right? And I don't think TBC servers ever even came remotely close to the amount of people that have played all the classic servers.
So, I mean, there was no Nostaria's equivalent to TBC or like an Elysium equivalent. There was one moment where the TBC really started to pick up traction, and that was during the time of, play TBC. It was Warmane's new TBC server, Outland, and there's like a couple of others, like Hellground, and probably like one or two others. Like, there was a moment where I got like a little bump, but never as close to vanilla with like Nostaria and Elysium. Absolutely.
So I think a lot of people are going to go into that not knowing with 110% sweaty certainty what the absolute best farms are going to be, and having just the most foolproof, bulletproof strat going into it, which should again increase that runway of fun and the feeling of fresh and the excitement of a new experience. So overall, that's hype. I'm still deciding whether I'm going to go Warlock or Hunter, but.
Okay. Well, one thing to add though, it does kind of partially depend on how much. Content creators, I mean, we're content creators too, how much we're able to tell people beforehand. I mean, we've seen this before with Classic too. Before Classic was out, there were a bunch of new people that I haven't heard of that started making videos, and I saw a bunch of videos of like, hey, that's really cool, I didn't know that. But now the information's out there, so more people are going to know the meta, which means more people are going to follow the meta. I think pre-TBC, like maybe like a month or 2 months before, we are probably going to see another spike in content, maybe some new people that only play TBC but still know a lot about the game. Maybe people that only play TBC in private servers figure like, now is probably good a time to make a video about that because it's not there yet. I think we're going to get another spike in content. I think there's going to be a lot more knowledge regarding that. So I think there's going to probably be a lot of meta around DC as well.
There definitely will be. I think one thing, as from a content perspective too, right? Like things spike up in hype, and you can either do something with that spike with enough momentum and people behind it, smart people behind it, to turn it into something great in the long run, or you're going to let that spike come and go. And I feel like to a certain extent, maybe it's just speaking from my own personal actions, I wish I would have done more to keep that, to translate that spike, that peak of interest into some more community events and just or whatever it might be, just a greater opportunity overall for more people. So I hope come TBC, people will have learned from Classic how it went and stuff, because it honestly felt like Classic came and all the content creators, they at least the kind of the OG ones, they didn't make that much content. Like, I don't know if you remember that, like they didn't stream that much, or they didn't go as hard as maybe they thought they were going to be on the content side of things. So
Sure, absolutely. I mean, if I can't speak for other people, I don't know what they were doing exactly, but I know what I've been doing. The thing with me is, you're absolutely right. I haven't made a whole lot of Classic related videos when I was playing, but that was also because I didn't really know a whole lot about the Hunter class. It was kind of fresh for me. I played one, but it was on a high rate server, so I couldn't really make a ton of Hunter guys because I just didn't know. It was kind of a little bit of a new experience for me, if you will. So that's why I kind of held back with the content. And of course, I wasn't one that got to level 60 really quick, so I could show you, hey, this is Molten Core, hey, this is Black and Lair. It took me months to get to level 60. That's why I was kind of slow with the content, for my part of it.
Yeah, for us, it's more, I'm still putting out content, but not as regularly, obviously. But for me, it's like, player first, content creator second. Like, I was making all that content because I was so hyped to play the game, right? Yeah, and now I get to play, and power to all the guys. Yeah, power to all the guys that keep up with it. But me, I'm just like, dude, I want to play, man. Like, I could sit here and make a 7-hour guide right? I am working on those extensive guides for Shaman for TBC. It's a slow process, but I'm working on them. But it's like I don't want to put all that time and energy into it right now, and that's fine. This is my hobby. I don't owe anything, right? And you know, like that's kind of how I feel about it. You know, I love that I have a community. People like what I put up, but the only people that I owe anything to is myself, right? And that's kind of how I look at things. And I know that sounds selfish, but I'm just trying to be healthy for myself and what I want to do, you know. So that's just at least how I feel about it.
Yeah, no, it's well said. You've definitely maintained a very consistent, you know, strong interest in the game, and I think you played it in a pretty smart way. In hindsight, Melderon, you didn't really go through some huge phase of burnout or whatever Def Camp had for periods of time. I have Hamster, you know, isn't super motivated to play there. You've done it well.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, you know, I'm not saying that it won't ever happen, Cargos, but like what I try to do is I try to balance, you know, with this PvP grind. Even though it's only to 11, it's still taking a lot of my time, right? And this is hopefully the last week I have to do it. But after this is over, I'm going to take a little step back and be like, okay, I'm going to focus on raiding and more on content creation, because I feel like I've definitely put content creation on lower end of the totem pole. But after this is, like Mad Season stopped making content to get to rank 14.
Yeah, oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
and I think that's I respect him so much for that, dude.
Yeah.
Did he get it?
I respect him for that. Yeah.
Oh, he's in the process.
His pre-made destroyed us last night, but yeah, so you definitely can see. Yeah.
That's cool.
Oh, you beat S-Fan.
We
right?
beat S-Fan last night.
So
We didn't beat Mad Season.
Here's where I'm going. Sometimes I have to talk things a little bit further to get somewhere, to understand where, you know, how my point is resolving. So when I said before, translating the peak in interest and hype, that spike, into a greater opportunity, and what I mean by that is a perfect example would be like the hardcore game mode or something, because ultimately with the static game like TBC or Classic, the super meta end game to that, it can't necessarily just be the world itself, because there's only so many times you can beat the boss or kill the dragon or whatever. Like, you need to have that PvP or that community drive it forward and create content itself. So like with that peak and spike of interest, maybe doing something like the hardcore game mode or something could actually pick up enough steam to become a legit thing moving forward, you know, and you know, or it doesn't have to be hardcore, but whatever game mode someone could think of, just using that, to make that happen. But again, arena is another thing that puts that's a game changer as well. So with arena, there already is a timeless sort of value loop of content there as well. So
yeah. But I will say, you know, people who are interested in like my content and stuff like that, or our content, is like I will be putting out TBC stuff. It's just like I'm taking my time on it. I'm not going to put it out now. It's more going to be focused on Shaman stuff. Like obviously, I have a kind of a responsibility to the Shaman community, right? I'm the head of the Shaman Discord with Egregious, right? We have to get this information out, so it's important that we want to get this information out for TBC. And that's going to be coming. As far as anything else, I haven't thought about it yet. I don't know what else I want to be doing for TBC. Maybe some more community stuff. I feel like I want to try to limit as much meta breaking or meta building that I can. I'll try, you know. But I do like making guides, though. That's like I enjoy it, right? So it's kind of it's a fine line I have to walk. I think with content.
Yeah, and as far as with me with streaming, like I 100% plan on streaming again soon. I think I just needed to take some time off for, you know, personal reasons and for other reasons as well, for like, you know, just where I was with myself and also with me playing the game. I needed to take some time off, and I think I'm starting to feel like I want to stream again soon. So for me, that was something that I think I just had to kind of do some self-reflection. And just kind of take a backseat on that for a little bit. But I really do miss streaming. I honestly do, and I want to get back into it, especially now that I'm having so much fun with PvPing. I really want to stream this. So hopefully I can get back into that pretty soon.
Hell yeah, definitely. That'd be great. That's just for me, update on my side of things. Just, you know, I bought the second property with the wifey. Like I said, we've been slowly, you know, every time you move into a new place, effectively, even though we're not moving in there as a primary residence, you always have to set up utilities and do all this stuff. It's a pain in the ass. Like, you know, so I put in a floor up there, and just been working on the internet's janky up in like a rural area. You know, converted a shed into a chicken coop. just doing all types of stuff, right? Germinating seeds, all this types of stuff. So that's why I've been kind of AFK, MIA, or whatever. But I still love this game. Always will love this game. It's S tier in my mind. This community is S tier in my mind, and I'll always come back. You know, that's the nature of the beast. If I wasn't creating content and have a YouTube channel, it would still be the same thing. It's cyclical. You get into it, you pump for a few months, you go super hard, and then you just kind of naturally gravitate away from it. You come back. It's just kumbaya.
Yeah. And unfortunately, YouTube punishes you for that. But I think it's healthy to do that, though, Cargos.
Yes.
You know, to take breaks.
Yeah, I definitely think it is. And, you know, a lot of people, for a lot of people, this is their main source of income. For myself, for Melron, it's not. We have other commitments. And Cargos, I know you have other commitments as well. And Hamster, I'm sure you do. And I think for people, you know, it's just how much time you can give. You know what I mean? And for me, I couldn't give that much of myself. And I think I need to reevaluate, you know, how much I want to do that, how much of myself I want to do that. You know what I mean? So that's another part of it as well. I think some people expect, if you're going to stream, you got to do it like everyone else. You got to be, you know, 5 days a week or 6, whatever. It's like, but
exactly. You gotta dye your hair blue and yellow.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. And you know, God bless those people who can live off of it, man. That's awesome. If I could do it, I would love to, but I can't. And I can't expect that, you know, of me to just like do that. So it's definitely just being real with myself and saying, hey, man, I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I mean? And taking a step back for me, it was a good thing, I think. But like I said, I want to get back into it. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah. But Hamsters, you've been killing it, dude. I think you've been killing it, bro. You're putting out like what, 2-3 videos a week? I think you've been doing.
Yeah, exactly. I've actually had a lot of spare time, and I just had, the thing is, like with me, it kind of comes and goes. If I have a really good idea, I immediately write it down, and then when I wrote it down, I start typing the script, and then everything just goes, like the gears start turning. And I just had some idea. It started with the what was I testing again? It started out with, can you raid in Burning Crusade with just classic gear? And because I had that whole idea and the whole like the area set up, I was like, wait a minute, I can do way more with this. So I started doing like DPS test comparison between different gear levels and like the best classic gear versus Burning Crusade gear. Now I have like a showdown between a Fire Destruction Warlock versus Fire Mage. I was like, you know, I can really expand on this. So it kind of comes and goes. There's like weeks where I don't release anything at all. There's weeks where I make like 2-3 videos sometimes even. It also depends on how much time a certain video that I'm working on takes. I mean, some take just a few hours and some take a lot of research, and just there's some videos that took me like 40 to 60 hours. Sometimes it gets really crazy.
Yep.
So yeah,
I mean, come naturally. Yeah, it's gotta come naturally. You can't force it.
Exactly.
I love the Underdogs of Rating series.
Such a good series.
That's
Such a good series.
I watched all those.
Thank you very much, guys.
Those
so
are
good, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I don't know how I got to the idea of that. I guess it started out with me wanting to show how the rotation of balance druids kind of evolved from, let's say, vanilla to Wrath to Cat or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute, why don't I just let's talk about like a little bit of a history too. And it slowly but surely started to become this like kind of like history lesson almost, like of the balance druid. And I was like, wait a minute, I can do this for the elemental shaman too, and I can do this for this and that. Like, oh wait a minute, why don't I just do all the kind of underdog specs? So it kind of got out of control.
I love it though. Yeah.
Thank you very much, man. Yeah, I'm really, really proud of that series. I sometimes look back and take a quick look, and I'm like, God damn, I'm super proud of that stuff, you know.
And some you have the opposite, right? Some are so cringe that you kind of just like don't even want to. Maybe that's just me, that you don't even want to read the comments on it, right? I look back at some of my old guides and I just it's like a hot potato. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. I just want to pretend it didn't happen. And then some you really get attached to.
Yeah, exactly. There's just like videos I made where I explain something and it's just me with my character, just one shot, and there's like a 3-second pause and you can hear me like, okay, guys, with the wrist back. Oh, what am I doing?
Oh my
so
God.
bad.
But you know what? I think it's something that's been, you know, with over the years, the expectation of videos has gone up so much from the normal viewer. You know what I mean?
God. Tell me about it.
To the point where a video, you know, 6-7 years ago, it was like you could have no editing. You could put, and it would be, oh, this is a great video. Nowadays, you better be fucking Picasso, man.
There's some
like,
CGI up in there, dude.
You better be Platinum WoW. Fucking happy.
Yeah, you gotta have Michael Bay explosions and shit in the background. Or not. But the thing is also, and I think it's also with you guys probably, that is that as soon as you start to like really notice some people liking your videos, you kind of feel like obligated to them to make sure you make solid content, and you want to kind of like push it to the next level. You know, you get it's part of being a YouTube content creator where you just like seeing people coming back and liking the fact that they like the content that you make, and you kind of you feel like this responsibility to. Or you can't. I mean, just like whatever. I'm just gonna pump out whatever. But I think most people, most content creators, at least in the classic community, whatever you want to call it, feel this obligation. Like I really don't want to just put out low quality trash videos. Absolutely. I kind of owe it to my fans who've been loyal, who gave me this channel I have right now, and I kind of owe it to them to release good videos. I mean, I'm sitting on like 42,500 subscribers. Which in the grand scheme of YouTube, awesome, it is awesome. But in the grand scheme of YouTube, I mean, these days it's not even like, no one even cares when you get like 100,000 subs onto like, you get the flags like, or whatever. There's people with like 10 million subscribers. But to me, it is amazing. I still cannot believe 42,500 people subscribe to me. So I feel this obligation, like I really want to please those guys, and I really want to give those guys the content I feel is good enough. So
and you do, bro. You really do. You really
Thanks,
do.
Man. Appreciate it. You guys too, by the way. I fucking love watching your content. It's awesome.
Thanks, dude.
We're one big happy family.
Well, that's one thing. I mean, some content creators you can't really get a read on. Some are kind of feel like they're playing games or they're not being authentic or whatever. I really feel like with you guys, like everyone keeps it 100, very natural. Just seem like real people, you know, just in another place and time. But it's funny that you mentioned that though, like, you know, other YouTubers and stuff, 100K is nothing. It's so true. I see my wife, you know, watching little like makeup tutorials or watching about whatever she watches, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, it's a whole nother league. I'm like, oh, how many subscribers does this person have that you're watching? And it's like 2 million, 3 million, 10 million, 700,000, exactly. Like, and I'm like, damn.
Children's sing along with the weirdest songs you ever heard, and it has like 4 million subscribers. Like, what? How? Okay, apparently.
But when you look at our niche, right? Like everyone has kids. All women do makeup, but like not everyone plays classic fucking WoW. Yeah, so like in our world, 40K is a lot. You know what I mean? Like
good.
Yeah, you know exactly. That's insane. You know what I mean? Think about, you know, not many people know what the fuck classic WoW is. All women do makeup, you know what I mean? But like, so that's the difference.
It's like, you know, like if you look at Asmon's channel, Asmon's like Asmon Gold TV, which probably is the biggest WoW TV, classic WoW dedicated, or he's not classic WoW dedicated, right? But he's got, you know, he's got 209,000 subscribers. So when you look at that, you know, you're like, okay, I'm not doing too horrible, you know. Like I got maybe 13-14% of what Asmon has. That's pretty good, you know.
But his streams are like, you know,
his streams, that's a different story. But I feel like, you know, Mad Season is up there as well. Mad Season probably.
Yeah, Mad Season. You know, Platinum's Platinum's
getting up there.
Job, like,
My question is, who is the oldest classic WoW or vanilla WoW, whatever, OG content creator that has been somewhat consistent, still making content? You know, because I think you're up there, Hamster. You're probably top 5 or top 3 even. Like, I'm trying
Can someone... I don't want to crash my internet. Can someone look up when Dodgy Kebab made his first video?
He doesn't make videos anymore, though, dude. Has he been making videos? Let me see.
That's the thing. I'm talking about consistent. Like, Dodgy also... Like, you primarily... Hamster are classic WoW. You know what I mean? Dodgy is kind of going more than that.
I'm not sure if I can call myself primarily classic WoW, because I've done like Mr. Pandaria private servers, like Rathless King private servers, and TBC. I'm pretty much all over
classic, I'm thinking like pre-Kata, like the classic world.
Oh, the old school. Okay, okay.
Okay, according to this, his first video was 10 years ago.
10 years.
Hamster said his is 10 years ago too, man.
Yeah.
Wait, but mine is 7 years ago.
So let me see. So Dodgy's looks like June 7th to 2010.
Really?
Final Fantasy 14 closed beta.
Wow, dude.
I mean, it's not classic related, but it is a channel that is still uploading frequently and is also involved with a lot of like private servers and like just WoW in general. So I'd probably say from the people that are still going at it, I'd say Dodgy. I mean, I don't know if you want to count Mr. GM, because Mr. GM did start out really early on too, but he deleted a lot of his content, which I understand, but it's not there anymore. So I don't know if you can count.
It kind of doesn't count a little bit because all those private server reviews are gone. You know, like.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know.
People are saying Swifty though. It's kind of true, or Swifty.
Well, Swifty is different.
True,
like I'm talking about. Yeah. Are we talking about people who like people that started in vanilla, or people that are started talking about classic WoW coming back?
It's kind of.
If you're talking Swifty, you can also add Kungan in there because
you can add Kungan in there.
No, but he's gone though, right? He didn't come back,
right?
Did he? Is Kungan back? I thought he quit. Like World of Warcraft.
I think it's safe to say that you are probably the oldest and most consistent WoW. Like, okay, I wouldn't say WoW. I wouldn't say you're a WoW content creator. I'd say you're classic and private. Like, I don't know. I feel like you're like the old school kind of like
nostalgia
category to make. I understand what you're trying to say. Like, yeah.
The OG Nostalgium vibes, man.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's got to be you and Orkbit. I mean, Orkbit kind of he slowed down, but I think you're probably the most consistent one I can think of that's still around from the days I remember. When I first started playing on private servers, I was like, I need to find out more about this, and you and Orkbit were the first people I ever watched. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I still remember those days. I thought it was so cool, man, playing Vanilla WoW for the first time again, like playing a private server. And God. The first time, man, listening to the videos and stuff, remembering all the items, dude.
Let me ask you guys real quick. What was the first private server you guys joined, and what class did you roll?
It was during TBC. It was during TBC, real retail TBC, and it was a private server of TBC. During TBC, there is a private server. I don't know why, but my buddy Jim, who we were both noobs at the time still, right? Like kind of noobs, and he was like, yo, you can log on to this private server, man. It's free, and you can get all these items and stuff, and you log in, and we're just blasting through Black Temple. Everything was a buggy mess. You get free tier 6 and stuff like that. And
wow.
That was it.
Wow.
My first was the Rebirth. Which was contemporary to. It was a very small one. It was right before NOS came out. I was the Rebirth, and I played a war.
Rebirth,
I think my first TBC server, I can't remember which one. One of those ones that I deleted. Then I went to Warmain, but it was what the hell was before Warmain?
You had Phoenix. WoW.
Phoenix.
Was it Phoenix? It might have been Phoenix.
You had Excalibur. You had old school Hellground.
It was Phoenix. The first one I played on was Phoenix. Yes.
Really? So what?
Phoenix. Yeah.
Phoenix Archangel? That was the TBC server. Could that be the one? Because that was my real main private server back then. I had so many characters here. I'm almost embarrassed to admit it, but
yeah. Man. The good old
my
days.
first TBC server. Because like me, I flat out say I love TBC. Is my favorite iteration of the game. It's just
I don't even see
another
their
100
website up anymore.
He has 100K subs for his Husky.
When did Warmain come out? 2016?
Well, the thing is, they technically existed before that, but they ran under the banner of Molten WoW. That's
right.
That was 2013, 2014, and around 2000. I believe you're right. 2016, maybe someone in the comment section might know, they changed it to Warmain because they had the Molt Down, which was a call, which was one of the GMs kind of hijacking data or whatever it was, and then they decided, okay, let's just fly on a new banner, let's forget about World of WoW. So
yeah, your knowledge of private servers is fucking impressive. Yeah.
You should write it down in a book and put it in the library. So conserve that history.
Yeah, dude, for real. I mean, you gotta. There have been some really successful private servers. There have been some really bad private servers. There have been some really scummy private servers. There have been some amazing, a lot of people say NOS, for what you think of NOS, they are a huge contributor to classic WoW being
absolutely
what it is, coming out. So, whatever you think of private servers, you got to give them credit where credit's due. You probably wouldn't be playing Classic WoW right now if it wasn't for private servers.
How would you define selling out? Random questions. Question for the chat too. Let's all make sure we don't. Well, I guess we don't run the risk of that with our small channels.
Doing something for money over your morals. So going against your morals for monetary gain.
Yeah, choosing money over integrity.
Yeah.
Yes,
I said that. Yeah,
I agree. Raid Shadow Legends.
Yo, they actually hit me up. I'm sure they hit you guys up too, right?
Yeah, we got hit up.
I don't know. I delete all those emails.
Somebody was like, play this during your stream while you're in queue or something like that. I was like, Yeah, okay.
I actually made a joke about that in one of my videos where I was like, okay, time for the sponsor, Raid Shadow, and then just cut
I did that too.
I remember that. Yeah.
One guy thought I was serious though, and he got mad in the chat. I remember he was like, "Oh, you piece of shit! You're all shilling for Raid Shadow Legends."
Like, here's the thing: if I would actually play something, and if I'm like, okay, this is cool, like I'll do it. Like I would love, yeah. If like, okay, like for instance, if fucking let me think. I'm trying to think of something that I use like daily.
I can think of one while you're thinking.
Like Corsair, like I love Corsair.
Yeah, sure.
You know, like, and they like, hey, would you want to be like, fuck yeah, I would love to have you guys like sponsor me, like something like that. You know what I mean?
Dude, Grace just said something really.
If Snapple came to me and said, you can be, I would fucking go crazy, right? I would love that.
Dude, Grace said something pretty fucking powerful. That feel when you don't play private server to preserve the vanilla WoW experience and realize you missed the vanilla experience on private servers.
Ooh. There was something to be said about specifically Nost, Elysium, and what was the one before Nost 2? There was one, Chronos. Yeah. Those are the ones that
dude, that right there, great. Like there, I don't know, like there was definitely something.
To go back even further, Phoenix Emerald Dream. That was one of the first proper Blizz-like one-time straight vanilla servers. Phoenix was one of the first private servers that had decent quality. Of course, now Phoenix is like way down the fucking barrel with quality. But back then, private servers were mostly like a joke. Like you said, there was like 100 times leveling rate and like a mob which gave you free tier 3 Nax gear, and you could maybe do Nax Ramus, but everything else was bugged. That was private servers back then, as far as I know. But then Phoenix came along and really changed the game, where they had the Emerald Dream. The Emerald Dream was like a separate kind of project for them, when it was a one-time raid, Blizz-like private server. I played on there like briefly. I got a character level 15 or something like that. But that was one of the first like pretty damn good, pretty decently scripted one-time raid.
That was a TBC though, right? It was TBC, or was it?
It was vanilla.
Oh,
right, yeah.
One thing I have to say, when I'm thinking about the differences between private servers and real classic, this might be a spicy little nugget. What do you guys think about this? Private servers did a way better job policing the game, that's for sure. There's RMT, real money trading, in private servers.
Yeah, some private.
If you did real money trading in some of the private servers, right? We'll say some, like Def said, you actually would get banned, and they would just insta perma banned, seal, sorry not sorry. Yep. You're never coming back. Yep. You're completely banned. Exactly. Goodbye, forever. In classic,
at the same time, there were some really bad private servers about that kind of shit, though. Yeah.
In classic right now, though, if you got banned, or can you even get perma banned from gold mining? Probably not. They probably just slap you on the wrist and say you have a 7-day suspension or something.
I'm sure if they caught you, but the thing is, if they're catching anybody doing that shit.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Maybe they're not even okay, but even if they did, they'd probably just say 7-day suspension, and that is a very big difference, folks. If you think you're going to get banned for 7 days versus getting permanently banned, sorry not sorry, all your characters, your entire account gone forever, big difference.
I feel like if Blizzard red-handed caught someone buying gold, that would be a perma ban.
Nope. No? I don't think so.
You don't think so? Anybody else? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I actually don't know. I don't even know what the
I think they'd offer you a discount on BFA and give you a 24-hour.
I was almost positive people have been in the past, maybe not recently, but in the past have been banned from WoW, caught buying gold. My guild got banned for months for having too much money shifting in his characters. Yeah, guy in my guild caught 3 times. Wow, that's crazy. If they were caught 3 times, yeah.
Damn. I want to ask you guys, I don't know how much private server you played, but what was the worst private server you played on? Think back.
I'd say probably the Rebirth, my first and my worst. Only because there was not a lot of people on it, and I feel like it was a good community. But I've been pretty lucky, so I went from the Rebirth to Nost to Chronos to Light's Hope. I mean, so I was pretty lucky.
Yeah, Light's Hope was great. Yeah, I played on. There was one. I think it was another TBC one that I run that constantly like the pathing issues were so like it was ridiculous. Some of the pathing issues and some of the just so many bugs. I'm trying to remember which TBC one it was. It was one that came out after. What was the one that was like going to be like, the guy from so and so is making this TBC server, and then they got shut down like immediately, and then
Gummies.
The Gummies. That was going to be good, and then something came out after that. I think. And it was like, really shit and lasted like.
Gummies was supposed to be the chosen one, and then it never took off.
Yeah, Gummies was supposed to be the shit.
The chosen
Yeah.
one. K2 or was it K3 put a bad taste in my mouth because it was one of the only private servers that I was about to take very seriously. I was about to go hard with it, and then I realized they manipulated the XP rate so that if you're in a group, you got just way more XP. And there's some really wonky stuff with that server where they just manipulated it themselves on launch, and it made me feel like GG, like
Ow.
yeah.
What do you guys feel about some of the more controversial ones, like what was with Shenna and fucking
Cross Elysium, right?
who got their own little Flash animation series, by the way.
Yeah.
Those are good. Those are good.
Oh my god!
Like, how do you guys? Obviously, there were a lot of people who exploited private servers for their own gain. People that worked with gold sellers. I mean, gold sellers held private servers hostage and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, there was some.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can I give you a quick shout out to someone? There's a YouTuber. I don't know if you know this guy. He's called Warlord Zek. XECC. This guy's not that well known. He's got a decent subscriber base. He made a video. Look up on YouTube Warlord XECC for the people watching. You can do it later. And then Monster WoW. Monster WoW was a high rate cat server. He exposed that shit, and there is hilarious shit going on. It is. I
missed the private server reviews. I might just watch one for the nostalgia of it. I feel like they don't exist anymore.
This guy did so much on exposing just how much shady shit some private servers did. The amazing stuff the videos he made, you guys gotta check him out. Warlord XECC. This
I just subscribed to him.
And check out the Monster WoW video. You will just not believe what kind of stuff you could pull on a private server and how much the owners would allow you to do. It is crazy. So yeah, that's private servers for you. I mean, it's just It's kind of a very charming mess in a way.
I remember Alex and the whole Elysium thing was insane too. It's the most dramatic I'd ever witnessed right there.
Elysium, dude. Yeah. So did you guys ever play? What was the one that had the no class and you could like
Ascension? Was that it?
Ascension. Yeah, they reached out to us a few times, like wanting us to do something on them or like I know they reached out to a lot of people. But I know a lot of people who had some really good said that they had some really good time on that server. You know, obviously it's not really WoW. It's kind of like different, you know what I mean? But that was pretty popular for a long time, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was very popular. I mean, there is one thing I'd like to say. I have no evidence for this, none whatsoever. But I thought it was very, very peculiar that I did a What is Ascension, basically, like a video explaining what it is. It got a lot of views, like out of nowhere. It's like, something's not right here. I can't say the dude was view botting. I have no evidence. But this something was like, why is this getting so much views? I understand it was a neat little project, but it got well over 100,000 views.
And not a lot of comments, huh? Or was there a lot of comments?
They reached out to almost every content creator at the time that I knew. Like, there was one point where they were getting pretty popular, where people were like, oh yeah, check this out. But they reached out to, I mean, they had a good marketing team, I think. They just reached out to so many fucking people.
Yeah, sure. They did great.
But yeah, something did feel kind of like shady.
Weird. Or whatever you want to call it. I have no evidence. I can't say they did, but it just feels weird. So yeah, there you go. But that's Ascension for you. It was a cool idea, though. But
yeah, it was a cool idea. Yeah, but it's not WoW. You know what I mean? It's something completely different. But yeah, I think private servers is a very interesting fucking whole, thing to look at. Like, it's like,
sure, yeah.
I mean, so
isn't it kind of funny though that it started off with a bunch of sweaty neckbeard neats in their basements to the reason why we now have Classic though. We have to thank private servers. Story. We have to thank these dudes who originally started out with these 100 time rate fun servers into, okay, let's do a little bit better, into now Phoenix with Emerald Dream, holy crap, okay, new standard quality, into Chronos, into Nostarius, into Elysium.
Do you remember the time, Hamster, where everybody got super pissed at Nostarius, myself included, because it felt like when they hung up the curtain, they threw in the towel, right? And they said like, we're done. Oh my God. Dude, I was pissed. I actually wrote a post, and I never advocated, I'm never an activist or whatever about this, and it turns out they were the good guys all along, or I don't know if you feel so a certain way about it, but...
Yeah, I mean, I again, I didn't main on the Stellaris. I had a level 17 druid there because it was just fun to check it out for a bit. But it was admittedly chaos. I mean, there were like well over 10,000 people playing there, so it was hard to level up. I mean, there was so many people, and it was really cool to see. But I didn't really play there a lot. So if I did have a max level there and I was raiding, I would have felt like cheated a lot more. But since I didn't, it didn't really affect me that much. But I still thought it was really shitty to all the people that played there. I mean, you've probably seen the videos of people like doing like parades, like slowly walking the one with all of each other, like thousands of people. It was insane to see, and it just
The community.
It hit major. I mean, Linus Tech Tips. They were talking about it. It was crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, you had fucking JonTron, right? JonTron.
True.
Yeah,
and Soda Poppin' too. Like it's
Yep.
crazy how much traction it got.
Yeah,
huge traction. And I think the thing that people look at most fondly of is that how good the community was in that server. There were people on that server,
Yeah.
and it felt like fucking real classic.
Yes, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember people just like, oh, you never played Classic before? Let me show you where this is. Let me show you where everything this is, and like that is Melbourne and myself in our videos tried to emulate that in Classic so much. We wanted that to survive in Classic.
Yeah.
WoW.
You remember like running to the crossroads, and I remember I was a druid level 13, and everyone that crossed me, almost everyone that could buff me, gave me a buff. I was like,
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
what just happened?
Like
What the
that.
fuck?
Full world buffs.
It was like we were brothers. You know what I mean? Like no
Exactly.
matter who you were a fucking brother. Like that.
Yeah,
that
we- We all knew like leveling on a one-time straight vanilla private server was challenging. They're like, hey, we're in this together. I'll give you something. You give me something. I'll give you Market of Wild. You give me an Arcane Intellect. Let's go.
It felt
Yeah,
kind of
it's-
fucking edgy and underdoggy too. It was cool, man.
Yeah, too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, there was definitely because you weren't. It was because it was underground enough for it to be like, oh, you're in the know too. You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah,
it kind of had like this feeling of we went through something that is kind of morally ambiguous for a lot of people, right? It wasn't for me, but I feel like and you got through that other side of the portal and you were there, and the same people were there too, and like you downloaded the client too, you did this, and you get more camaraderie, I think, when it's this more selective group of people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
if the bigger the group, the bigger the chance of anonymity there is.
Yeah,
So
right.
yeah, I mean, smaller is more tight knit it is. So it's this little niche, like one server. Like I get that exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Good times, boys.
Yeah.
Well, we're past
Yeah.
our scheduled programming time, guys. It's been a hell of an episode. It's really,
I had a
really
great
nice.
fucking time, man.
Time
Really-
flies when you're having fun, boys.
Absolutely.
It
Some
is,
of the
definitely.
finest men to ever walk this earth, man. Guys, where can the people find you? I know they probably already know where they can find you, but in case there's a couple lost souls out there that need to be woke, where can they find your content?
Yeah, go ahead, hamster plug.
Yeah.
Well, you can find me on OnlyFans for exclusive pictures. And I have a bunch of very nice feet pics there for all you.
Wait, is this another monetization route, dude? Do I need to get it?
Wait, are you IDub's girlfriend? No, I'm just joking.
Oh man.
Shots fired. They can find me on YouTube, and I have a Twitter account, and I have Facebook, but I barely ever do this stuff with that. And I have my YouTube for both streaming and video, so just check me out there. So there you go.
Awesome.
Thanks. So you can find us at DefCam Melder on TV, guys. I think you guys know where we are. But
Twitch.tv/DefCam when I start streaming again, which will be soon, hopefully.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
this was a lot of fun. We got to do this more often, and we like to talk about when this DBC is coming closer and closer. Right? Hopefully, at least, I feel like there's a lot to talk about. So, and we have a lot of new content coming out in Classic too. There's always something stuff to talk about.
That should be when TBC gets announced. That's all it's gonna take, guys. Mark my words right now. Clip it and ship it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be an adrenaline shot right into the jugular, man. Like this is gonna go from where it is right now because it's pretty stable up to like 9 million%. And anyway, at least I hope so. But thanks very much for joining me, guys. Again, I hope you guys know that I got mad love for all of you here, and for those of you guys who are watching, and just. I can't thank you guys enough for all the support. Even going cold turkey for a month or two or something, and people are still watching the content and stuff. I appreciate every single one of you guys watching right now, and for everything you do. So, Guys,
keep on it grinding.
Hell yeah.
take
Love
care,
you
everybody.
guys.
We're gonna end it. We'll see you on GMA 50 next time.
Ooh,
yeah,
we
that's
got
gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Number 50.
Number 50.
Shit.
Take care.